The Gory Gaze.
Welcome back to the Gory Gaze, the horror podcast where two boyfriends slash up and bleed out your favorite
and not so favorite
horror movies.
I'm Stanley.
And I'm Alex.
I forgot my name.
You did.
I did.
Hi, Stanley.
Hi, Alex.
Hi.
How's it going?
Very good, thank you. How are you?
I mean, I'm fine.
Are you?
Yeah, it's been it's been a good week. It's been mellow. I think the Zoloft's finally kicking in.
Uh-oh.
In a good way.
Is it?
In a really good way. Yeah. For all those folks who are medicated,
Downing more sugar?
Yeah, well, and that's another thing is like I've been drinking way too much coffee lately, and which is nothing new, but it's been affecting how I sleep. Shocker, you know.
Really?
You know that I wake up 1,000 times to pee in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
And last night was the first time probably in 3 months that I haven't woken up once.
He's in denial that he's at 40-year-old's doorstep.
That what?
That you're at your 40-year-old doorstep.
That I'm approaching 40.
About to knock.
This is almost 38. We're getting there.
It gets better.
No, it doesn't.
Yes, it will.
Will it? Everyone always says that 40s are where it's at. Is that true?
I love my 40s. I'm 42 and I am in love with life.
Are you actually 42?
I'm 42 years old.
Remember that you thought you were 43?
I thought I was 43, turning 44 this year, and no, I was corrected.
We need to see your birth certificate.
No.
Is your name actually Alex?
Never.
Is your name Stanley?
My name's Alejandro.
Is your name Sheriff?
His name's Sheriff over there.
That's so funny.
Darren Dan.
Don't let me forget he has a vet appointment tomorrow.
Okay.
I can't forget about that.
Let's roll.
What's going on?
Not much.
With you? I mean, I know, but what do they not know? What does everyone
not know? Well,
know?
This week is obviously, if you listened last week, so much better than the week I had before.
Yeah, you were in a rut.
Besides the distraction, yeah. This week is so much better than last week, and I am thankful for getting through it and coming out, on a much better positive side.
He doesn't need Zoloft.
I don't need Zoloft. What did I do? I was in my feelings, and as Stanley comes home and there's the bathroom door is redecorated, and I started just doing shit around the house, and I'm like, when I'm in my headspace, I just like to create and do, and just deal with it.
Different strokes for different folks.
I don't need Zoloft.
No. You know what, though? That's a benefit for having you around, is that the apartment is always clean.
Yes.
So that's your medicine.
Yeah, I don't need Zoloft, but I do have OCD, and I just fucking germ freak.
Zoloft is great for OCD.
No, leave me alone. I love my OCD. I embrace my OCD.
To push this on you. If it starts disappearing, I know where it went.
Seriously. I eat all the sugar and drink more coffee, and the house is a mess.
I was going to say, and suddenly everything is in disarray.
I love Zoloft.
I mean, this should also come to no surprise. We went to the Flower Mart recently.
Yes, we did. And it's a routine now. It's a weekly routine.
That's the greatest thing that ever happens in our life.
We purchased plants that we thought were $1.50, and then we are going crazy, grabbing this one, grabbing that one.
Oh my gosh, yeah. We got these beautiful cactuses out of a really inexpensive labeled bin.
Yeah.
Lo and behold.
So we thought.
$40 later.
Yeah, when we get to the register, they're $6 each. We're like, okay, well, it's too late to put them now.
But they're really beautiful. And we name our plants after final girls.
Yeah. We have Laurie, we have Sydney, we have
Sally.
Sally.
We have...
Give us.
Oh, I guess that's it.
Yeah.
I guess that's all. There's so many. And I guess there's not that many, actually good final girls when it comes down to it. There's a lot of final girls, but there's not that many great ones. Who's your favorite final girl?
Probably Sydney.
Mine's Sydney as well.
Yeah.
I think Sydney is
she the only one?
Ultimate final girl. Well, Laurie Strode is my second favorite final girl, obviously.
Yeah.
And then I think my third favorite final girl would probably be Jenny from Friday the 13th Part 2. And then I think if I had a fourth, it would be Sally from Texas Chainsaw. I would flip that around. I think Texas Chainsaw Sally would be.
Jenny's the one that I tell you reminds me of Anna Faris, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they look a lot alike.
Mm-hmm.
And so those are my top four, I think.
It's like I can't watch that movie without watching Anna Faris in it, and it just kind of ruins it for me because I'm expecting her to fan Anna Faris out.
They look really similar.
Okay.
It's ridiculous. What have we, I was going to say something, and like after that though, what were we talking about prior to that?
Welcome home, Sydney. Watch the preview of coming events.
You're asking me?
Oh fuck! I'm asking
Zoloft?
the wrong person.
I'm on
Jesus
Zoloft,
Christ!
my feelings.
I was gonna say that we renamed Lonnie's board.
Oh,
That's what I was gonna say, and that's kind of like a prelude to this episode, I guess. So we renamed Lonnie's board to Lonnie's Lottery.
Oh, there it is.
Like Lonnie's Lottery board. No.
Yeah, because it's more like a lottery, right? Like
Yeah.
you kind of take a pickings to it. Not,
Yeah, because the way we do it, like we close our eyes.
Yeah.
And then we like wave our hands around like dickheads.
like a random lottery.
Yeah. And so it's kind of funny with this particular month. We did it like way in advance, which is not something we usually do. Usually we just do it like we pick every other episode like the week before.
Mm-hmm.
And we had already picked Poltergeist II for this week. And then, weirdly enough, right a couple of hours later, we decided to just do the board. Now, the lottery, Lonnie's Lottery.
Yeah.
We might as well just spoil it now because it's just a little interesting that Poltergeist ended up being the selection from Lonnie's Lottery.
Yeah,
Oh, wait, you know what?
super
No.
weird because you recorded it. So it's like recorded where I had already picked Poltergeist 2 and then we did the board and the board chose Poltergeist, the first movie.
It was like, oh man, we made a cute little video and everything, and I was gonna like save the video and post it in a couple of weeks, but it's like, fuck it, I'll just post it.
I
Here
mean, yeah. There's
shortly.
no surprise. It's Poltergeist next week.
I know. So, well, no, it's the week after.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, it's
you're right.
the third week.
Let's go.
The third week. So yeah, that's something new on this end. We've changed that, but it will still be an audio commentary, and so we're gonna try to keep this episode separate from Poltergeist information. We're going to try to keep this as Poltergeist 2,
Yeah.
the other side, as much as we can. Rightfully so, because I think it deserves its own conversation.
Yeah.
And I will try my hardest not to talk about part 3.
Don't do it.
Because I love part 3, even though
We'll get there eventually, but yeah.
I think that we will have to. Because
Yeah.
we revisited it last night.
It's a really good movie, and part 3, it chopped itself from 1 and 2.
We watched this little documentary episode today from Shudder because we got Shudder again. It's a love-hate relationship. But they have that Cursed Films series on it, and Poltergeist has an episode on it. They went into kind of great detail about the passing of Heather O'Rourke, and the director, Gary Sherman, who directed Poltergeist 3, had a lot to say. And it kind of changes the perspective of Poltergeist 3 and if it's actually what I thought it was this entire time. Because I've always thought it was a scary film. And then upon watching it last night, you know what? It's actually not scary. It's cool. It's got a lot of really cool effects work. And I think that there's some really, really fun visual things happening in it. But all in all, it's not a terrific film. And now knowing what we know about the ending and like that she died, before it was even finished and what they had to do to conclude it and all that bullshit. It kind of changes things.
Yeah. I never really heard everything in detail the way I heard it now. And it's like, it really changed the perspective or the viewing of the movie now. Like, it's so much more like sadder to view it now, or like it made it more family orientated. It's so weird. Like, it took the scary out of it.
Yeah. Like this is definitely a movie series that people notice and talk about more about the stuff that happened behind the scenes than they actually talk about the movies.
Yeah, like there's a lot of comparison in this movie to the first one and second one. Yeah. And the health of the people and who's in it and who's not in it.
The second one especially, like I didn't even realize that 2 of the main actors in the second one died shortly after the movie was made as well. Julian Beck.
Sheriff.
Scared the hell out of me. Okay, homie, that's enough. Hey. Speaking of cursed.
Yeah.
We got the cursed Rottweiler.
Cursing everybody out the window.
But yeah, Julian Beck, who plays the Reverend, and Will Sampson, who plays Taylor, they both died from health-related issues shortly, if not too long after the filming of the movie that we're talking about today.
It wasn't health-related issues. It's a cursed land, I tell you. It's a cursed land.
Even Zelda Rubinstein said that
Cut the crap.
All crap.
She said that. She literally
Skittles
said,
herself said. But yeah, we'll get into all that once we start talking about the movie. Do you want to talk about what we're going to be reviewing over the next few weeks outside of Poltergeist? Since we already talked about Lonnie's Lottery, do you want to talk about what we're going to be doing over the next couple of weeks and just get it out of the way?
Well, we're doing your pick next and then Lonnie's board, right?
Yeah, Lottery.
Yeah, Lonnie's
we
Lottery.
Need to get used
Lonnie's
to calling it Lonnie's Lottery.
What is your pick?
Well, so we've kind of like decided on a theme. So The Rage Carrie 2, that was like a batshit sequel. And then Alex picked Poltergeist 2, another batshit sequel. And then Lonnie's Lottery kind of fucked it up because Poltergeist happened. But after Alex had picked Poltergeist 2, I was like, it would be kind of fun to do just more batshit sequels, preferably, or more particularly, actually, just part 2s. So I hemmed and hawed for a moment, and I was gonna pick Amityville Part 2 and kind of keep like the haunted house theme going. But I figured that since it's like springtime and prom is right around the corner, that Hello Mary Lou Prom Night 2 would probably be a lot, and I mean a lot, of fun. And it just fits the bill. It's super gory, it's gay as fuck, and it's just it's a fucking blast. And I don't know if you've seen it. Have you seen it?
I think so. I'm pretty sure I've seen it. Yeah.
Are you looking for the poster on the wall?
Oh, that's the Demon Night, right? Night of the Demons.
No, that's that one over there.
Where are you? Oh, yeah, you're right. But you have showed me this movie before.
I probably have at least once.
Yeah.
But I feel like it's one that you just like stopped paying attention to halfway
Probably
through.
most likely, yeah.
It's hokey, but it's effective. It's like a whole just mishmash of all these films from that time period, just mixed into one. It's a blast.
I love it.
And did you decide on what you wanted to do yet, or are you gonna wait?
I think I'm gonna wait because I chose The Conjuring 2 because
Originally.
of the whole, like the whole haunted house and the family thing that we were going through, for. But then again, everything changed. And now I don't know, like I'm in a loss. Like I feel like choosing something else, but I still feel like sticking to The Conjuring 2 just because we still have to do it anyways. Like we would still have to do it. If not, I would have gone back to, what did I mention?
You had mentioned A Nightmare on Elm Street 2.
Oh, A Nightmare on Elm Street 2, if we were going to keep it with sequels. Or I also said Malignant.
Which is not a sequel.
Okay. But
so
it would just be jumping back. Yeah.
You have time to decide.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like where we're at over the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, what do you guys want to hear us talk about?
Yeah, let us know. You know how to get a hold of us. And I'll just bump this out of the way now. You can find us on social media at The Gory Gaze. That's Instagram and Twitter and YouTube. And you can also email us at thegorygaze@gmail.com. We actually... What?
No, never mind. I was going to mention to our little listener that it wants us to do Carrie.
I was just going to say, Nicole, there is a listener of ours. Go ahead. What were you going to say?
No, go ahead. You have the entire story. I just heard it from you.
That's it.
I just wanted to shout her out.
Yeah, Nicole, she asked us at the very beginning, like at the very beginning when we first started way back in September, if we could do Carrie, the original Carrie. But that's part of Lonnie's Lottery board. So we're trying to avoid doing those until they actually fall into that selection. But I had emailed her back then and said, yeah, like when it comes around, like we'll totally dedicate it to you, blah, blah, blah. And she wrote back again a couple of days ago and had asked again if we could do Carrie. And we had just done Carrie 2 last week. And so I said, hey, you know what? Like, we'll figure it out. Like, it'll fall into place eventually. But her birthday's coming up around the corner. And she now has decided that she wants us to do Carrie 2013. So in the next couple of months, when that comes around, we will be...
Well, that's funny because I received a note that said, you're going to do Carrie.
Oh, yeah.
I'm teasing.
I mean, you're not wrong. She was pretty demanding.
Whoa.
But
okay,
hey.
But we're listening. We got you, Nicole. We're going to do it. We're going to do it. We're going to shout it out.
We finally have a listener who wants things from us.
Yay.
So we're gonna give it to her. Nicole, thank you for listening, girl. We love it. But yeah, that's exciting because I know you like that one.
Yes.
Going back to our Carrie 2 episode. And thank you for listening to that episode, you guys. That one was a lot of fun. Do you want to talk about what we've watched lately?
So many good movies. Let's start with what we watched in the theater. And the last movie that we saw was Ghostbusters.
Ugh.
Did you want to start with that? Why'd you look at me like that?
Frozen. What did I look like?
Frozen. Like, don't talk about it. Don't bring it up. Don't mention it.
Well, I don't know. Like, what?
I was just going to say, don't talk about it. In all honesty, they gave us Hocus Pocus 2.
Okay, that's a really good way to look at it.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think that it could have went direct to streaming.
Mm-hmm.
It probably would have been fine.
Mm-hmm.
It was way too long. And I just think that it was so family oriented as far as the writing went that it just wasn't, it didn't have the right tone.
No.
And I don't think that the last one did either necessarily, but at least the last one had a lot more, in my opinion, nostalgic throwbacks to the first two films. Yeah. And I just didn't need the older Ghostbusters in this new one. Spoiler.
Yeah. I had no idea that they had even created a new Ghostbuster franchise for these movies that are coming out.
Oh yeah, Afterlife was a first watch for you.
That's such a fucking good movie. It was so good that I was so excited to watch this other movie, which had so much potential to be greater than the first. And it was total disappointment. I feel like they were just giving us things that we can be comfortable with that were just like recognizable to the first movie. And it just, I don't like when movies do that. It's really like what I say, Hocus Pocus 2, and they're just giving you crap and you're eating it.
Well, what's interesting about Hocus Pocus 2 is that it was just so long awaited and people were really, really hyped for it. And after like watching Hocus Pocus 2 the third time, because I think I've seen it 3 or 4 times now, the third time I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
But it took that many times for me to actually jump on board for it. And I think I like it a little bit more now. But with movies like this, I don't know. I don't know what point we're trying to prove.
Well, it was just two Disney studios. It felt like you could put in line like with Hocus Pocus or the Haunted Mansion movie, or like it just seems like those movies that you can just play for a 3-year-old while they're just playing in the living room.
It's very iPad.
Yeah, exactly. On a road trip. Yes.
Yeah, and which is fine, but also it's just misleading. Like don't give us a Ghostbusters film and then kind of like cheap out. Like I feel like they cheaped out the entire movie. You didn't give me. They didn't give us enough ghosts. They didn't give us enough of this alleged Frozen Empire. I mean, it's subtitled Frozen Empire, and we don't get shit. And I will say that I did like the inclusion of Emily Lind, the ghost in the Central Park who's playing chess with her.
Oh, she was so good.
And I love her. And I told you that she was like a frequent customer of mine back when I worked at LPQ, back before she was like as big as she is now, because she's been on Gossip Girl. She was in Dr. Sleep. That would be a good sequel to talk about, by Dr. the way, Sleep. Is Dr. Sleep. Just a suggestion.
You're right.
And
leave me alone.
You can make your own decisions.
I live my life.
But I really liked her. And I mean, I always think Dan Aykroyd's adorable, but I just think that the inclusion of the older Ghostbusters was like, I was waiting for Kristen Wiig to come out. I was waiting
I'm telling you, it's just these things that are like comfortable for us to keep viewing. Like, of course, we're going to keep watching because it's just a comfort thing now. It's not even that the movie's even good or the story's great. Yeah. I grew a little frustrated, and maybe too frustrated, with those fucking little marshmallow minions. Like, it was just too much of it. It was way too much of it. Like, are you friends or not?
It just reminded me of Toy Story.
Yeah, it was really annoying to me. It was just so much of it.
Yeah, I think that if they would have shaved off a half hour, and if they would have given us more ghosts, then it would have been a worthy addition to a kind of dying franchise. Like, this is a franchise that should have ended after the second one. And with that being said, I kind of want to go back and watch the Kristen Wiig one, because I feel like that I didn't give that one a fair chance.
Well, you said the mom in these movies looks like the one from
Kate McKinnon.
Yeah,
she does. And I'm sorry, she was my least favorite part of this whole shindig. Her and Paul Rudd.
At Paul Rudd being called dad.
God, like that whole dynamic between them, and what the fuck, like Okay.
It's like Paul Rudd's too young to be called dad, and the girl was too old to call him dad now. So it's like, just call him by his first name. You guys you'll be cool.
It's just like the writing is lazy.
Yeah.
It's complacent, and Finn Wolfhard did not belong in the film.
Mm-mm.
Like the whole, like, I'm 18, like all that bullshit. And if you're gonna throw Slimer into the movie, like into that mix, like fucking utilize him.
At least have him save the day.
Like, give me a Slimer prequel.
Yeah.
That's what I want. There's our 2 cents on Frozen Empire.
And when they just like, when he's like, who are you gonna call? Ghostbusters. Oh my God. There's something strange in it. And I'm like, no.
Get out of here. I would have liked to see Sigourney Weaver.
Yeah. Oh, didn't she come
pop up? No, she was at the end of Afterlife.
At the end of Afterlife. Yeah, you're right. Which that would have been cool.
Yeah. I do love Little McKenna Grace, the lead girl in the movie.
She's amazing.
Everything she's in, she's good at.
Yeah.
So I will give her all the kudos in the world. And I'll pull a U card and say, hey, they made a movie. But whatever. No, never mind. I take it back. What else have we watched? Oh, speaking of Kristen Wiig, before we get into anything else, everybody watch Palm Royale.
Best fucking performance of hers ever. She looks so fucking good.
Tremendous. It's got a great cast. I mean, we got Leslie Bibb, you got fucking Carol Burnett, you got... Oh, God.
So she could have been Barbie. She has such great skin.
She should have been in that show. But she's fucking killing it on that show. I'm a few episodes in, and it's a lot of fun. Okay, what else have we watched?
One movie that really fucked me up, especially because you fell asleep, Train to Busan. Fuck, that movie fucked me up, you guys. I was just bawling. I couldn't keep my shit together. That little girl fucked me up.
Yeah, I was not expecting that movie to be as effective as it was. And that movie came out and it was so hyped up. And I remember not being able to get into it when it came out. Like I probably made it through the first like 10 minutes and I was like, not for me. And wow.
Yeah, we waited till the end, till Netflix is about to take it off.
Yeah. And we were like, we should watch this. And if you guys want a really, really good, fast-paced, in-your-face, gory...
emotional fucking roller coaster.
Emotionally charged fucking zombie movie, watch Train to Busan. Apparently there's a sequel. We haven't watched it. And they're going to remake it.
I honestly don't think it's going to be as good as this movie was.
They never are. But it's going to be called Train to New York.
No.
So come on. I've been on a train to New York. They're not that fucking bad. Get off and go up to Broadway. You'll be fine.
We love you, New York.
Oh, God, I can't wait to take you to New York. You're going to love it.
I will.
So that followed us into The Sadness.
Yeah. So from there, Stanley's like, if you love this movie, you're going to love The Sadness. Nothing comparable.
To be clear, I woke up the next morning and finished Train to Busan because I wanted to finish it. So I did finish that movie and I had already seen The Sadness. So go on. What were you going to say?
But it's such a fucking different vibe.
It's a different tone for sure.
I hated everybody in it.
Yeah, because I think that the Train to Busan it's just made differently. I think it's not as, I don't want to say that The Sadness is funny, but it's got like a dark humor to it that Train to Busan does not have.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like it was a lighter tone, even though it's more fucking gory and gruesome. Like it was a much more lighter tone than Train to Busan because of the emotions that I fucking invested in that movie.
Lighter as in like
the emotional what is it, like what I gave myself.
I understand as far as like the characters and stuff go. Yeah, because there was a point while we were watching The Sadness, and again, I had already seen The Sadness, but I forgot how gory it fucking was, and I had to roll over and be like, we have to turn this off.
It is definitely unapologetic.
A very good word for it. And I mean, and I recommend it. Maybe we'll have like a zombie month, 1 month, and just talk about all these fucking European zombie films.
One of the best fucking zombie movies I've ever seen, with zombies that run.
Yeah, and those ones are hit or miss. The zombies that are infected that have like the ability to just be super fucking quick.
And then at the end, you invest so much time in these people only to find out that the time you invested on these people, these are the people that are at fault at what's happening.
Oh, yeah.
Not giving too much info, but you guys.
Yeah, you can stop it there. Those are always really, really compelling. Mm-hmm. And that's just layers for character development.
Yeah, that's what it is, the character development.
It's fucking enthralling. So those are 2 highly recommended movies, I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yep.
I would definitely say.
Watch it now before it disappears on Netflix.
Yeah, Train to Busan's almost out of here, so get it done. And The Sadness is available on Shudder.
Yeah.
So that is one thing. I was also watching In Search of Darkness Part 3. I think you came in while I was watching that. The documentary about all the 80s horror films. And it's so weird because those documentaries are like 5 fucking hours long. And it's not until like the third hour to where I'm like, wait, I've watched this. And then I'm like, do I finish watching this? And then I end up watching it anyway. And it's like, how many times have I seen these fucking documentaries?
I know, seriously. Well, when you binge on stuff, you binge on shit. Like when I'm not watching horror movies, I'm binging on my Big Little Lies right now.
Oh,
fucking amazing cast.
Of course. Why haven't we talked about Big Little Lies?
Oh my gosh, that show is just fucking everything to me right now. I'm at the first episode of the second season.
Oh,
and it's
you got
just
through
so
season
fucking
1
juicy.
so fast. It's so weird because we've been talking about all the shows that we've been watching over the last couple of months. We've started 6 Feet Under. We've started Yellow Jackets. We've started Servant. We've started Palm Royale. We've started, oh my God, Russian Doll. We've started so many fucking shows and new shows even. And somehow you are just zipping through a show you've already seen.
Yeah, honestly, I've already seen this show, but the first time I watched it, I wasn't really paying attention. And now I am. And I'm so fucking invested. And it's such a great fucking story. And it's so good the way it's made. Again, Nicole Kidman and Reese Witherspoon in this fucking show is just everything to me right now.
I think Laura Dern is really fucking good in that. The whole cast. The whole cast is really good.
And I love that it has Alexander Skarsgård, which we've podcasted about in our, what is that movie with Mia Goth that we did? Infinity Pool.
Oh my God, I'm so glad I didn't have to help you.
I know, I got this. Don't look at me.
I let him look out the window, search for God.
I was like, come on. Search for infinity.
Oh my God. Speaking of Mia Goth, the Maxine trailer will be out.
Oh,
so
speaking of our girl, Mia Goth.
Yeah, if you guys are listening to this today, which is Monday, wink, wink, let us know what you think of the Maxine trailer. I'm excited to, I'm pretty sure I love it. I'm just going to say I like it.
Yeah.
At this point, I've watched it and I like it. I just love her.
Yeah.
She's fucking rad. Whatever.
Yeah, she's fucking amazing, especially in Infinity Pool.
Yeah, she was great in Infinity Pool. Infinity Pool.
Yeah.
Also, if you're not gay, you better not be listening to this.
If you're not gay, you sure are.
I don't know what you meant by that.
Everybody's gay.
I mean, Gypsy?
We all have a little Carrie inside of us, you know.
Carrie wasn't gay. Was she?
You don't know that.
Carrie just celebrated her 50th anniversary of being published, by the way.
Cool.
The book.
Birkenstock turns 250 this Sunday.
That is not true.
I'm just saying that because, I have to set up their marketing for work at work.
Why 250? Why did you pick 250? How old did they really turn?
Why did I pick? I don't know. I didn't invent Birkenstock.
I'm putting my hands on my waist right now because you're not going to tell me that the Birkenstock is 250 years old.
They're 250 years old. That's Germany.
Don't make me Google this.
That's where they're from.
They are not 250 years old.
Look up Birkenstock. Yes, they are.
Give me my gut.
They must have been made of like wood back then, bro. Like cork and stuff. Like for reals.
Really?
Like that's why it's so like Birkenstocks are so good for your feet.
I love Birkenstocks.
Yeah, it's the footbed that comes inside of it. And I apologize for talking about Birkenstocks on a horror podcast, but I know you guys wear Birkenstocks anyways. But I work at a shoe store. One of the largest in the West Coast.
Don't go visit him because I will hurt you. Everyone stay away.
Yeah, right. No, but we're setting up their marketing tomorrow, and it's going to be 250 years of Birkenstock.
I love this.
You're really looking it up?
I want to know how old they're actually turning.
Just go to my job site, and it'll tell you the birthday right there.
250th anniversary. Oh my God. Celebrates 250 years of family tradition.
There you go.
Oh my God. That is insane.
It's wonderful.
Well, I love Birkenstocks. I have a really wonderful, I used to, the ones that Shelby got me broke, and then you got me the blue ones.
We have the Evas, which are the plastic version of the Birkenstock.
They're so fucking good.
They're really good.
Love them.
It's like the Croc of the Birkenstock.
Croc of the Birkenstock. It's like walking on clouds.
Crocs are still better, but Birkenstocks are pretty good.
You know what? I don't have anything against, what did you call them? Crocs.
Crocs.
I like them.
That's a giant croc.
It's a giant crock of shit. Giant crock of shit. We also watched The Omen.
Yes, we did.
The original Omen.
Yes, because the new one's coming up.
Oh, it's already out.
Oh, yeah,
And
you're
it's
right.
getting
Sorry, wrong
the
week.
greatest fucking reviews.
Yeah.
It's getting the most solid fucking reviews, and I can't wait to watch it. We have not watched it yet, but we're going to watch it in a couple of days. Yeah, we're going to watch it soon. And I can't wait.
That's what I said last week, is that I wanted to have my Who Did It Best jumping off the roof scene.
That's right. Yeah. So that's something that we're going to watch over the next couple of days. That's that, guys. That's what we've been up to. What we've been watching. It's tax season. Everybody do your fucking taxes.
Get them done.
Get them the fuck done.
Or get an extension.
Yeah. Is that a?
It's an option.
Is that a double? Is that a meaning?
Don't stress out. Just get an extension.
I think he's getting an extension, guys.
I'm getting an extension.
We're going to the flower.
I'm getting an extension. I know. I'd rather spend my money on flowers.
Well, hey. I guess this is a good transition for the people under the stairs.
The people under the stairs.
The people under the stairs.
Okay, Poltergeist 2, The Other Side, also known simply as Poltergeist 2, is a 1986 American supernatural horror film directed by Brian Gibson, who we know for... I think I've only known him for another film that I've watched that I really like, and I think that's What's Love Got to Do with It.
Wait, what? Are you serious?
Yeah, I'm serious, of course.
The one with Tina Turner?
Uh-huh.
Oh my God, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I mean, he has a good list of movies, but I think the only one that I can actually remember is What's Love Got to Do with It.
Oh, wow.
Isn't that great?
You know what? He directed the Juror with Demi Moore and Alec Baldwin. Have you ever seen that?
Yeah. I remember those movies back from the That's a 90s movie, right?
Yeah, that was like a weird time for movies.
They were actually pretty good movies. It's the tone of them, the sex, the smoke, the backline, what is it? The cityscapes of, what they use in the background is New York, Chicago, and all those type of tones.
It's that. And then there's also Demi Moore had this weird period between I think it was like 90.
Was it because of her white set vagina?
It was definitely her white set vagina. Between 93 and 96. And she did Indecent Proposal. She did Disclosure, The Scarlet Letter, and she did The Juror, Striptease. And all of those movies were like super heavy as far as like being an adult actress goes. You know what I mean? Like I'm pretty sure she got naked in mostly all of them. The Scarlet Letter was heavily
Did you
banned.
watch that?
Which one?
The Scarlet Letter.
It's terrible.
It's fucking the worst.
It's fucking awful.
And then G.I. Jane was probably one of the...
It was like right after.
Yeah. So that Demi Moore just was not for me no more.
But it's funny because
no more Demi Moore.
I have her autobiography. Her autobiography, Inside Out, is really, really good. And I really like some of her movies.
No,
like
I agree.
I love Ghost.
Mm-hmm.
I love Now and Then. There's a couple performances of hers that are really good, but that's a whole different conversation.
Yeah, all this just because of Brian Gibson.
All of this just because of Brian Gibson. What else has he done though? Let's look.
Yeah, let's look for sure. So we have.
I love that he's done What's Love Got to Do with It, dude. Angela Bassett got nominated for a fucking Academy Award for that movie.
Wow.
Before Poltergeist 2, he did.
Breaking Glass was one too.
What was that?
1980, Breaking Glass. I
Phil
remember that
Daniels. Movie. Who the fuck are these people?
You're like, what the fuck?
I have never heard of that. You've actually seen that?
I remember Breaking Glass, yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
The Josephine Baker story sounds vaguely familiar. Does that? I knew it had Lynn Whitfield, and there she is on the fucking cover. Hey, Craig T. Nelson is in that movie as well. And he's in this. He's in Poltergeist 2.
Oh, no way.
Hey,
Yeah,
if you guys
we're
haven't
gonna get
discovered yet, we're talking about Poltergeist 2, The Other Side.
I just said that.
Oh, you did?
And then we started talking about Brian Gibson.
I'm cursed.
He is cursed.
He hasn't directed a film since 1998.
Okay.
The last movie he directed was Still Crazy, starring Stephen Rea, Billy Connolly, Bill Nye, other people. Yeah, he's a British director.
Yeah,
He's
he looks totally British. British.
Is he dead?
I
Oh,
hope not.
he's dead.
It's the curse of the
Oh,
The Poltergeist.
Yeah, it must be. Yeah, he's dead. He died in 2004.
Yeah, it's definitely
So
Poltergeist. It
that's
was
why-
before the release of 2015's Poltergeist.
He was married to Lynn Whitfield.
Oh,
Oh, and they had a daughter, Grace, and then they divorced, and then he married again,
Paula Ray Gibson. What a
and
great name.
he died of bone cancer. Oh, that's unfortunate. All right. Well, moving on.
Yes. Okay. Well, the film Poltergeist 2, starring some returning actors from part 1, right?
Yeah, a lot of them.
Joe Beth Williams, Craig T. Nelson, Heather O'Rourke, Oliver Robbins. We have Julian Beck, Zelda Rubinstein. Yeah, woo.
Madam Serena, baby.
Yes. Will Sampson. Although we should be celebrating Heather O'Rourke as well. I really liked her performance in 1 and half of 2, and then 3 just wasn't doing it for me no more. But I mean, I really loved her as a little girl actress.
Okay, yeah. Okay, we'll talk about her. Go ahead.
Oh, and I also forgot. I said I had mentioned Will Sampson
You did.
and Geraldine Fitzgerald.
Geraldine Fitzgerald. Yeah, she plays the grandma.
Yeah. Did I mention the guy that plays the Kilo creature guy?
Oh my God.
I didn't realize that he was an amazing fucking stunt double that does other movies, and he did like one of the Nightmare on Elm Street movies too.
Is he actually missing his legs?
Yeah, like he's
Okay.
actually that's how he works as a stunt person, and he does these specific, parts and characters.
That's really cool.
It's super dope. So I didn't realize that this was because that's a fucking crazy looking, horrific demon that comes out of that tequila bottle.
Hey, we should be clear that this movie was nominated for an Academy Award for Best Visual Effects.
Super dope. Like,
Yeah.
Really cool. Like during those times, it was such a good movie to just watch with the family. I loved it.
I didn't see this movie until like right after the pandemic.
No, this was like a total family flick for us at our house. Like it was so good to just sit around and watch this every time it came on, or if we rented it.
Gosh. Oh, renting it. Yeah, this was a VHS rental for sure, huh?
Absolutely. For cinematography, I have Andrew Laszlo.
Andrew Laszlo.
Have we worked with him before? Let's see. Of course we have. I'm sure.
we? Well, he's definitely dead as well. That's
I don't know why we laugh at that.
I know.
We're like,
We're literally
congratulations, you've gone.
Oh, we love him. So he did The Funhouse, which was directed by Tobe Hooper, who is a granddaddy of horror, y'all. We all love him. He did Texas Chainsaw. Tobe Hooper, not him. But he also did Newsies. Hello.
Oh, no way.
And going back to Hocus Pocus, Kenny
You better
Ortega.
stop.
No, but Kenny Ortega directed Newsies. Kenny Ortega also directed Hocus Pocus.
We love Kenny Ortega.
I love Kenny
I was so
Ortega.
excited to see him work with Michael Jackson, and what was the end of Michael Jackson's little journey. But
This is it.
never got to see it.
Yeah, that's a really compelling documentary, by the way. This is it. That movie.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah, okay,
exactly.
sorry. I was like, hello.
no, sorry. I was like, are you looking for something? Or?
No, go ahead.
So yes, edited by Thom. Is that Thom?
I think it's just Tom.
You better stop.
I'm pretty sure it's just Tom.
Okay, I don't know if it's Tom. Is it Thom? I'll just say Thom.
I'm pretty sure it's
okay,
Tom, maybe.
Tom
Okay.
Noble.
Yeah.
Music by Jerry
Oh,
Goldsmith.
no, real quick. We're going to talk about Tom Noble
Tom.
because we actually have to
Not
talk
Tom.
about it. Not Thom. We're going to talk about Thom Noble. Thom Noble.
Stop it.
Thom Noble. So he won an Academy Award for I forgot what he won an Academy Award for.
goodness.
Witness. He won an Academy
Oh.
Award for Witness in 1985. But he has an extensive filmography as far as editing goes. Like he has been editing since the fucking or is he dead? No, he's alive. Okay.
Oh my
Christ,
Welcome
everybody's
to the
dead.
podcast where we talk
Welcome
about everybody that's dead.
to the Poltergeist curse. So, among other films, he did The Exorcist 3, Legion.
Oh, that's a fucking good movie.
He was also nominated for Thelma and Louise.
Oh, it's another fucking great movie.
He did The Scarlet Letter.
Baby girl, that's where you sank.
Okay, that's the end of it.
That was it.
It just got worse with The Island of Dr. Moreau. If you know, you know. Oh my god. But fuck me, dude. He's done so many. He did The New Point Break. He did The Time Traveler's Wife. He did Flight Plan with Jodie Foster.
I like The Time Traveler's Wife.
I never saw it.
A good movie.
I did see Vertical Limit though. I liked that. I saw that in theaters in like the fucking 8th grade. Oh, he did Color of Night. That's the one where you get to see Bruce Willis's pee-pee in the swimming pool.
Oh god dang.
For all those interested.
I bet I'm fucking interested. Bruce Willis probably has a big old.
I mean, It's like
Ben Affleck
very
here or not?
brief. I think Ben Affleck has a bigger dick than Bruce Willis.
Yeah, that's a he gone, girl.
Just saying.
Can we talk about this amazing, fucking fantastic soundtrack, this score in the movie that is fucking Poltergeist 1, 2, and maybe 3? No, I don't know about 3. They're just sounds.
3 is fine. But yes. So 1 and 2 have really good scores. The second is so different than the first, but they're both composed by Jerry Goldsmith. And Jerry Goldsmith, of course, I mean, everybody loved him. He did so many fucking movies. He did Gremlins, which is one of my favorite soundtracks. He did The Mummy. He did Total Recall. He did Basic Instinct. He did The Omen.
He's not producing music. He's producing feelings. Like, he's putting you in the moment of what's happening with two characters, you know, the development of what is happening during that scene, and he's making you feel it so fucking good. Yeah,
It's
like
really intense.
the introduction between Carole Anne and what is the Reverend Kane.
Oh my gosh.
That feeling that is inside of Carole Anne's stomach, like we can hear it clearly through the music, and you also feel it yourself, that it's just like this stomach wrenching fucking feeling. It's so immersive because of that fucking music.
Yeah. I also want to say that he was nominated for Poltergeist 1 for Best Original Score. He won an Oscar for The Omen for Best Original Score. Fucking well deserved. But I mean, this guy, Jerry Goldsmith, you guys.
Yeah.
We all know Jerry Goldsmith's work.
It's all in the name.
And again, long dead. He's been dead for like 20 years.
Amazing legacy he left behind, but it's fucking so good.
So fucking good.
Release date was May 23rd, 1986, a year after filming.
Just a few weeks before I was born.
Just a few weeks before just a few weeks before you were born. Running time on this film, I have 91 minutes of just delicious, good, what is a family being terrorized by demons.
You're so funny.
Good.
Oh my God.
I just like this movie. It just gives me the fucking warm feeling inside. It's alongside with like E.T. and like all these other cozy type family movies.
What's
for me.
really strange is that I do want to point out that this movie was like heavily edited. There was like a lot edited out. So runtime might be 91 minutes, but 15 minutes were cut from the final editing stages.
It's like one of our episodes.
And some were rearranged chronologically.
Okay, and that's amazing info.
Just saying.
Thank you. Poltergeist 2 grossed $40,996,665.
Wait, is that the franchise?
No, that's for this movie.
Really?
Yeah.
How much?
$40,996,665, both United States and Canadian box office, though, together. What is it? Internationally, it grossed, $33.9 million for a worldwide total of $74.9 million is what it brought in. This is fucking amazing money.
Wow. Against what budget?
It was like 19 million.
So the box office ultimately was $75 million.
Yes.
Against a $19 million budget.
That is a lot of fucking money.
Hold on. I want to see what the original Poltergeist, and we'll get to that. Oh my God, Sheriff. Lord have mercy.
Yes, we've clocked his barking at 90 decimals, by the way, when Sheriff barks, and that's enough to fucking make you deaf.
And no, you guys, Jesus. The budget for the original Poltergeist was $10.7 million, and the box office was $121.7 million worldwide.
Wow.
Fucking phenomenal.
That's crazy.
So that one was like a phenomenon. So this one, in comparison, not so much, but it still definitely made its fucking money back. I want to say the top 5 movies that were in the box office that like weekend.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
because I didn't do this last week, I like kind of started a rant. I was like, I want to talk about the other movies that were in the theaters the same time as Carrie 2, and then I didn't.
I think you did.
You
didn't actually. You brought it up. You said, let's talk about what came out at the same time, and then we just totally skipped
and then
to
we
it.
completely didn't. So just so you guys know, I do know that Cruel Intentions was out the same time. But anyway, that chance has come and gone. Top Gun was number 1 at the box office.
How do you compete against that?
And that had just come out the week before. Cobra was opening the same day as Poltergeist 2. I mean, it's a fucking Stallone movie, so sure.
Oh, yeah.
Same thing.
How dare I?
So that opened the same day. Short Circuit, which you love.
I
You
fucking
like that
love
movie,
Short
right?
Circuit. Yes, I love those movies. That movie, batteries not included. That's all my
Yeah.
shit right there.
That one was number 3, and that had already been in theaters for 3 weeks. That opened on May 9th. Poltergeist 2 opened at number 4. And it opened with 16 million, I think is what you said, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
And that was in 1,599 theaters. And then the 5th one, which had been in theaters for a little less than a month, was JoJo Dancer, Your Life is Calling. What the fuck is that?
Look
The
it up. We're going to
fuck?
fall in love
I'm
with it.
looking at it right now. What the fuck is JoJo Dancer, Your Life is Calling? After severely burning himself in a drug incident, a comedian has a near-death experience in which he reviews his life.
Oh, we got to watch.
So, my Saturday morning. Pretty in Pink was number 13. And it had been in theaters since February. I love that. That's my lucky number. And
Wait,
I
it
love
came
that
out
movie.
in February?
Yeah, that's an 86.
It was released in February?
February
Right before the
28th.
spring.
Yeah, February 28th. Okay, cool.
All those weddings happening. How wonderful.
I mean, should we talk about anything as far as... Wait, you didn't tell us who wrote it.
Oh, well, I'm not finished.
Oh,
But yeah, you're right. I
go
didn't tell
on.
us who wrote it. Yes, written by Michael Grays and Mark Victor.
Michael Grays produced one of my favorite Stephen King adaptations, Sleepwalkers.
Whoa.
Fuck yeah. Love that.
And
What
then I
else?
believe Mark Victor he also wrote the original first Poltergeist. Yeah.
I think they both wrote the first one, yeah. And Mark Victor also wrote
Marked for Death
Cool World,
and Cool World.
starring my girl Kim Basinger.
Oh, look at you.
Oh, I love Kim Basinger. She's genuinely one of the coolest fucking people I've ever encountered in my life.
Nice. Oh, she's the one that walked into the restaurant with her husband.
Oh,
She goes to your restaurant, right?
all the time, yeah.
She's the woman that I couldn't get. I was like, the woman that always goes there. The woman that
that's
always goes there. And
right.
the book, the guy with the book.
Yeah.
The book.
I have his book.
You have his book.
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
Everyone,
He's a photographer, right?
Get the goal. He's a hairdresser
I heard this.
and author. Yeah, hairstylist. Oh, yeah, we love Kim and Mitch.
See, that's why couldn't I get that damn name?
You're so funny.
Thank you.
Yeah. Alex came. Wait, were we talking about this last week?
No.
No? Who were we talking to about this?
I don't remember. Oh, I was talking to my boss about
Oh, that's right.
the restaurant.
Oh, yeah.
And how
Okay.
many people walk in there. And when I've been there a couple of times, how many celebrities I just saw walk in and out.
Yeah.
I'm like,
I
oh,
love
hey,
that.
this is the spot.
Okay.
IMDb, a 5.7 out of 10.
Wow. That's fucking high.
Yeah, that is good. Well, I mean, fuck, as much money as it brought in, it better have good, credits. Not even that, because I still don't understand that suitable flesh movie, and I want to watch it,
Don't get it either.
and we keep talking about it. Tomato meter, I have 20%. Boo.
Oh, on Rotten Tomatoes?
Yes, on Rotten Tomatoes. Sorry, and for Metacritic, I have 49 out of 100.
God, I feel like that's even really high.
Yeah, that's pretty good. I mean, it's pretty much up there. It's a good movie to watch, and it's pretty much recommended.
On your end or
On my end.
Because I was
and
going to say, with a 20% on Rotten Tomatoes, that doesn't sound very recommended.
It's okay because there's a lot of really good fucking movies that I don't understand tomato meters or the Rotten Tomatoes score on it either. Like, they can say 18% and it's a fucking movie that you just consider the best movie ever made.
Opinions are like assholes.
Yeah.
Everybody has one. I think I Still Know What You Did Last Summer has like a 13%. And that movie's fucking stupid, but like it's well loved. People really like it. Hereditary has like an 82. You know what I mean? And that's like a pretty fucking perfect movie.
Yeah.
I might be wrong on 82, but it's got like a much lower score than it deserves. We just throw these out there so you guys know where they lie consensus wise, and then we give you our opinion.
You can find the house in Simi Valley.
I was going to ask you, because you've been to the original house.
Yeah, what is Cueste Verde? Yes, I've been to that original house. I used to live in Simi Valley, so it was just a couple blocks away from where I used to stay.
Hop, skip, jumping
Hop,
away.
skipping away.
So, because this movie is not the same neighborhood, right?
No, but they do go back to it.
But it's not the same Cueste Verde that is
No,
in
this
the
is
original.
this is supposed to be the mother, Diane's mother's.
Well, yeah,
house
but they go back to Cueste Verde later on.
at the end of the movie.
Now, is that the same neighborhood? I feel like that it's different.
It starts in Cueste Verde, that is Simi Valley, where the house was located.
Okay, but since that house is gone,
It's still
In-
the same neighborhood.
but then once they get up to that, though, I think they film somewhere else. I think once they get into a different
the gate,
area,
like the gated
yeah.
area.
I think maybe it's a set or something.
It could
'Cause
possibly be. I mean, like we were watching in that documentary earlier, they had mentioned that the movie had been recorded before anybody bought the house or moved into the property. So there could have been other houses that were being built around the area. Because I don't know if you've ever been to those neighborhoods that are upcoming. And there's some houses that are already on display for model.
Like the lots?
Some that are bought already. And then the next door neighbors is not built yet. You have to purchase it and build
I understand.
The guy had mentioned that the swimming pool had actually been dug up in that house, and there is an existing pool on the property, so they did the pool scene there as well.
Okay.
For part 1.
Okay.
Yes. So, I've been to the house. It's pretty dope.
I love it. Okay.
Respectfully, admiring it with keeping in mind that people still live there.
Yeah.
So most of it being filmed in the spring of 1985. So the older sister is no longer in the movie, but they kind of never really explain it like at all.
No, they
don't
completely
mention her at all.
They completely remove her character, and I think it was out of respect.
Yeah.
I think they didn't want to have like any reason to explain like where she went, like out of respect for the actress and her family. And it was like just a touchy subject.
It was so touchy and it was horrible, like to hear it. And this is like for anybody else that doesn't know what happened. She was just murdered by her just angry boyfriend, just strangled her to death.
And then she went into a coma for 4 or 5 days, and then they just had to pull the plug because there was no brain activity. Mm-hmm. So, and another really fucked up thing is that he only spent like 2 years in jail. Like he did not get like any sort of like he did not get his fucking upcoming at all. Like it was really bad. Where were you going with that? I'm sorry.
Oh, no, that was it. It was just
just stuff behind the scenes type of stuff
and whatever else that we could have just talked about. Some non-returning cast members, and we'll talk about more as we're going on with the film and whatnot. But.
What did you think about Jo Beth Williams in this one I guess Jo Beth Williams and Craig T. Nelson as the parents in this one as opposed to the first one?
I love them. Their energy between both of these cast members. Doing their job as parents, I totally believe the whole family, vibe and what they got going as far as the whole love, is what's going to be overpowering. And, that's how you get the family back. Yeah. They really sell it well.
Yeah, I like them a lot. I think the family dynamic is what makes both of these movies work. I think if this family was not the same cast in this sequel, that it absolutely would not work. And there's a lot of things wrong with this movie, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it's bad because there's a lot of fun things that happen.
No, this is like the National Lampoons of horror.
Yeah.
Like, the family, you feel the family right away. They sell it to you immediately and you fall in love. It's kind of like watching Amityville, like the way they move into the house and you fall in love with the family, or even like Pet Sematary, the same fucking thing. You fall in love with the family and you watch their life story unfold and then fucking hell happens.
It is nothing like Pet Sematary.
You better stop. That's where everything originates from.
I love that you are, you know what? Yes. Fine.
Don't fight it.
Fine.
Don't fight it.
I'll give that one to you. Can we talk about Craig T. Nelson being like hot back in the 80s?
Oh my gosh.
How was he so hot? Like back in like the early 80s?
I love that we saw him shirtless and all and just be a dad. Like,
yeah.
I mean, hot dad bod.
He's such a dad and he was so hot. All the right moves.
And he's so fun. Like he was just so fucking fun is what sold it to me was like, what a fun, sexy man. Yeah. He's just so hot.
He just seems really cool. He was in this, feel like we always end up talking about like a canon movie fairy tale. He was in one of my favorite versions of Red Riding Hood. And he plays like the dad or the hunter or I don't know. Like, but he also plays the wolf.
Yeah, really?
I think at the end he essentially plays like an evil wolf.
And isn't he Mr. Incredible from the Disneys?
Yeah. Holy shit, you're right.
Yeah, I remember because he was the guy from Coach, and I was like, the guy from Coach is Mr. Incredible.
Oh, that's wild. I didn't realize.
The guy from Coach.
I love that. Oh, that's so funny. He was also in Scream, Blackula Scream.
Yeah, he's done some really good shit. And right now, is the young Sheldon still on?
Yeah.
And he's still in it?
Yeah.
Wow, that shit's been on since 2017.
Yeah, he's still working. He's 80 fucking years old.
That's amazing.
Jo Beth Williams as well. Oh, I forgot that she was in Jungle the Jungle.
I honestly loved her as Diane too. She was like my favorite mom growing up.
Yeah, she was great. I mean, she was great in the first one. She was fine in this one.
It was their age was just like so young. They must have been in like their 30s, maybe like 37, 35 when they had Carole Anne and was it
You know what?
Tommy or Bobby or what's
I
his name?
think that, okay, so if she was born in 48, she was probably like my mom's age.
Yeah.
Around the time that I was Carole Anne's age.
See, and that's what made it fun between both of their energies. They had really good chemistry.
It's
working
relatable.
together.
Like relatable type of stuff. So I guess before we get into it, do you want to tell us about your relationship to this movie? This was your pick, so
It was my pick
tell us why.
because I'm telling you, it's one of those comfort movies where I can just watch it and it's just so heartwarming to me. Like I don't know why, like the effects, like there's something about them that just makes me feel all fuzzy inside. Like I genuinely love watching Carole Anne float away into a screen, or like even when they do like a blue, like the image of a blue ghost like slapping something, and you just see like it just whip through the screen. It's just like the coolest fucking effect that is like that's not what a ghost would look like, but okay, neither would it look like the ones they showed in Ghostbusters.
I was gonna say it has very similar effects to Ghostbusters.
Yeah, it does.
Like, and I think that's what made the first one a lot of fun, is that the visual style that they use was kind of cartoonish. And
I don't know why, like the idea of the aura of a ghost is blue in these movies.
I don't know either.
Like
I think
but
that's
it works.
just like an early
like
80s
energy
thing.
in blue, like
But
the hue of blue works.
Also, these are family-friendly horror films.
Yeah.
So they have to make them a little bit more family-friendly than not, and I think that's
And they still do that.
part
See,
of
like
it.
the Haunted Mansion did that the hue of blue.
We're
And
not going to talk about the Haunted Mansion.
But I'm telling you, anything that's like family orientated or they want to aim, they always do the hue of blue. If
Sure.
not, then it's like really like demonic red. And,
Like
really-
Casper.
yeah.
Yeah,
like,
there's
or as we like to say, coagulated blood.
yeah, there's a sheer difference between something like Casper and then like Guillermo del Toro
Yes,
movies.
thank you. There it is.
Yeah.
Casper's the perfect fucking idea of
No,
what I'm talking
I
about.
totally know what you mean. But I think that this movie it kind of goes a little bit deeper as far as wanting and trying to be scarier than the first one. But I don't know if it actually succeeds.
It just feels like home to me. So every time I watch these is like watching The Wizard of Oz or
Oh,
Twister or
God.
something that's just inside of me. Feels fuzzy.
Return to Oz would also be a good sequel
Return to Oz
to
would be
talk about.
a great sequel.
Just saying. You have
Nice.
so many options here.
There is many options.
I love it.
That's why it's like fucking hard to pick.
All right, what do you say we
Is that everything that we talked about?
enter
Yes.
this house of spirits?
So I say let's jump
No.
into the flames and meet you on the other side.
See you later.
See ya. Wait, where are we
Alligator.
going?
Oh, Poltergeist 2, The Other Side, or Poltergeist 2 goes like... How does it go, Alex?
Like this.
They're back.
Let me in. Let me in.
Why the hell won't you leave us alone?
You are gonna die!
Poltergeist 2 opens on a desert within a canyon. Now we have a medicine man or a shaman. I can't really decide what exactly he is, or if the movie even knows what he is.
I think that's the correct word to use.
Right. So he's and this is played by Will Sampson. He goes to the top of a large towered rock formation where he and another medicine man of sorts, they conjure a spirit. Is that what's happening?
It's like a protection spirit. Like,
Okay.
yeah, that's what they're conjuring. Like they're putting a protection inside of their soul to be carried into the family and then released onto the family.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't exactly sure.
So remember, then later in the film, the dad and Taylor go back to this desert, and then he makes them take the smoking.
Yeah.
That's when like he gets like this protection
Magic.
magic placed into him.
I have things to say about that. And I think this is what you were talking about with like the blue effects.
Yeah, there you go. There's a lot of that going on.
Because we get those really, really early on. And I do like how this starts and there's like the stars above them.
Mm-hmm.
And I just think that stuff's always kind of cute. The actor who plays Taylor, the shaman, the main shaman, he actually went to the set of the original Exorcist or the original Poltergeist to perform an exorcism. Is that something I read correctly or heard correctly?
Yes. So in real life, he is a real shaman. He would go and bless the sets to protect them from anything that they conjured up during the filming.
That's
Which
insane.
is what they believed, and also in his Native American culture. I think, like, why not respectfully just go along with it? Like, yeah, why not? It's a thing. It's an actual thing. Burn some damn sage. The energy is rotten.
The energy's rotten. So Taylor then goes to Cueste Verde. Am I saying that right?
Cueste Verde. Yeah,
Cueste Verde.
Fine. Cueste Verde.
To visit the remains of the Freeling household. And for those who don't know who the Freelings are, Alex?
This is the family that is being pursued by the evil demon spirits.
And what happened to their house at the end of the original?
It disappeared. It got swallowed by the earth.
Yeah, and we, again, are going to go more in depth with Poltergeist Part 1 in a couple of weeks with our audio commentary from Lonnie's Lottery. So we'll get more into that later. And also, we get flashbacks from the original Poltergeist throughout this movie. So if you haven't seen Poltergeist 1, you're not going to be completely in the dark if you choose to watch this movie years later, or if you've never seen it before, etc., etc.
Yeah. If you watch this movie without watching Part 1, it's only going to want to make you visit Part 1 just to get the story intact. It's pretty cool.
I don't know. I wanted to watch Part 3.
I want to watch Part 1 so bad.
We tried to watch the remake. We didn't even talk about the
tried
remake.
to watch the remake. 2015, they remade this movie, and I'm okay with the story. It works well, but
It's the same story.
It is the same story.
I forgot that they replaced Tangina with a guy.
Yeah.
Ugh.
See, there you go. And then his accent is just too much for me.
I just completely spaced on all that. But I mean, I like that, with remakes and reboots, they do things a little bit differently, but there are some things that you just shouldn't touch.
And there's only one person that can say this house is clean.
I know, and that's our girl Tangina.
No, that's me.
Oh,
yeah. My OCD.
Oh, gosh. Do you think that the music in this movie is better than the first one?
It's fucking amazing. I'm telling you, it's like, I feel it in my gut. Like, I understand, like, what's happening just with the music alone. Like, he really makes you be immersed with this film just by feeling.
But you didn't answer me.
What?
Do you think that the music is better than this one than it is in the first one?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Was that the simple question the answer you wanted? Yes.
Okay, perfect. And also, do you think that this movie looks better than in the first one? I mean, like, do you think that like this movie is like a sleeker look, that it looks like they spent more money on production?
Not at all.
I think that it looks better.
No. I don't think so. I just think that Part 1 has a lot more of that graphic-y, ghouly stuff, and Part 2 has more like real stuff, like that stunts man dressed up in a warm costume and things that are like actually real in life, as opposed to this big angel that is dressed in hue of blue coming down the stairway.
Wait, what?
Like in Part 1.
An angel that comes down the stairway?
Yeah. It's the most beautiful part in the whole entire movie. Like, it's a really cute story too, but they're in this little moment, and then so the camera starts moving upstairs, and down the hallway is this big bright light, and it starts getting closer to the stairs, and it's this big beautiful just image of an angel just coming down the stairs, and then it just disappears onto the ceiling right above them where they're sleeping, and it's like this really intense force, like wind, like just flying.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah, it's like one of the best scenes in the movie. I love that scene. Is like so special to me. It's super cool.
Oh my gosh. Well, I guess I haven't seen the original. I mean, again, I didn't see the original until the pandemic. all the way through.
Yeah.
I had only seen bits and pieces, probably like the popular bits and pieces.
But see, like, there's a lot of scenes like that. Like, the part 1 is really fucking cool, but comparable, I think they're pretty much the same. Like, I really like the filming of both of these. I feel like part 2 has more of a filter on it, like a dreamy filter on it.
Yeah.
Than part 1.
Yeah, I think that's kind of an accurate statement. There are certain scenes in this movie that just look really good. And I mean, I guess it's like comparing apples and oranges, but there are times where I feel like I'm just watching recycled scenes.
What?
From the first movie. Yeah, there are times,
How
and
dare
instead
you.
they just replaced the television with the little toy phone.
Mm-hmm. Too much phone?
I don't think there was enough of the phone. So they like use that as like the marketing ploy, and like that's like the communication device for the supernatural entities in this movie. But they only give that to us like 2 or 3 times.
What are those called? They mention those a lot in the Conjurings and all those movies. The doorway.
A conduit?
A conduit, yes.
Really?
Yes,
No,
that's exactly the word. Yeah,
You
like
promise?
something that connects that world into our real world is like a conduit.
I'm literally looking up
a
the
conduit is
definition.
like an electrical cord. So if you connect the electricity here onto your TV, then that's what's the electrical cord is what's the conduit is like the phone. Or Annabelle or
Wow, you're right. I'm right.
Yeah. You're
How
right.
cool. Okay, let's get back to this. I know, because I don't ever like it's like very rare that I actually say something correctly in context. Okay, so Taylor is at Cueste Verde. He visits fan favorite Tangina, played by our girl Zelda Rubinstein.
Yes,
I don't know.
Rubinstein.
She's dug below the Freeling swimming pool that you were talking about, claiming there's a presence beneath it, and below they go, descending a ladder into the undergrounds.
This is scary to think the idea that they were living on top of this.
It is kind of creepy.
Yeah.
Because everybody thinks that these houses were just built on top of a graveyard, right? But actually, there's a bunch of skeletal remains, and they are all crawling towards a standing skeleton that this part's scary. It has like a reptile that crawls out of its mouth, like a salamander or something. It's really, really scary imagery. But you get the idea that like people were somehow buried alive or something like that.
And that's what it is. It's like this cemetery was built on top of this cave that hosted what we're going to get into.
Oh, was there a cemetery? There was a cemetery buried on top of that?
On top of that. And then they moved the cemetery to build homes on top of that land. So they put all the dead bodies. They only moved the plots.
That's right. They didn't move the bodies. But these bodies that we see underneath the Freeling swimming pool are not the bodies. These are the bodies.
They're not the bodies from the
followers of Reverend Kane.
No. This is what they dug up after the coffins and those skeletons from the first part.
Yeah.
To discover that there's a cave underneath this stuff.
I see. Yeah. Okay. So we now go to I don't know what her name is. I didn't catch her name, but it's Diane's mom's house. It's grandma. I'm just calling her grandma in my notes. But we are revisiting the Freelings. We have brother Robbie, played by Oliver Robbins. We have Carole Anne, played by Heather O'Rourke, and then we have mom Diane, played by Jo Beth Williams, and then we have dad Steve, played by Craig T. Nelson. Her name was Geraldine Fitzgerald.
Okay.
Who also lived to be 1,000 years old.
She is. Oh, there you are. You're right. Yes, absolutely. Her name was Jess.
Oh, Jess.
Just Jess.
So.
Just Jess with jazz hands.
Also nominated for an Academy Award.
Gorgeous name. Geraldine Fitzgerald. Wow.
It's funny because she's like got a British accent in this film, which I fucking couldn't stand. She's apparently Irish in real life.
Oh, and just to give credit to the stunt guy that I was talking about earlier, his name is Noble Craig, and they named him the Vomit Creature.
Yeah, and they mention him in that In Search of Darkness part 3 that I was talking about. Screaming Mad George, an effects guy, was talking about how he helped make this particular effect.
Oh, yeah.
And I love Screaming Mad George's work. He did the whole Shantine sequence in, what the fuck is it called? Society. He did a lot of the gore effects for Children of the Corn 3. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
This Noble Craig guy, the stunt guy, he's done some stuff for Nightmare on Elm Street. I'm just so intrigued as to what it was. Now I want to watch.
Yeah, I want to know, too, when you figure it out.
I'm not going to figure it out.
You better fucking figure it out.
How dare you?
Okay. We have this annoying little bit where Grandma...
Can you stop? It's like the sweetest moment because we're learning about Carole Anne.
No, I don't want to learn about Carole Anne because she's not a good actress. Like, it's interesting because Heather O'Rourke was so cute in the first one.
Yeah.
Because she didn't talk all that much.
No.
And she was like 4.
But she was doing so much.
Yeah, she did. Exactly. She did what was required of her because...
She does really good in some parts of this movie, but I understand what is like a little bit annoying with what you're going with right now.
Yeah. But like this yarn bit, like where she's like, oh, like, pass me the yellow yarn, dear.
Mm-hmm.
And
Pass
then
me the red one, dear.
And then she's not looking, but she's like trying really hard not to look. And
she's smiling all smug because she knows what she's doing for camera.
Yeah. So we are given the impression that Carole Anne has psychic abilities. And then we learn later on that Grandma also has psychic abilities.
Yes.
And then we learn later on that Diane also has psychic abilities. So it is generational, and all the Freeling women
are highly clairvoyant.
Highly clairvoyant. Thank you, Tangina.
Mm-hmm.
So the Freeling men, however, have been reduced to radios due to their previous television trauma. So they have to listen to their ball games and such on the radio.
Yeah.
This is not fun for Robbie, but it is kind of funny, and it's kind of current because Dad is telling Robbie to use his imagination, something that I don't feel like a lot of kids have these days.
No,
going back to
absolutely.
like the whole iPad thing.
A lot of it, it's gone.
And that was something I wrote in my notes. Just Carole Anne is significantly older, even though this is only supposed to be a year later. But this movie was made 3 years later, released 4 years later.
She got a little cocky.
Yeah.
On part 3, it's what annoyed me a little bit about the movie is because they probably kept telling her, do the Carole Anne voice. Do the Carole Anne voice.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Try to be as much Carole Anne as you can. And it's like, you're so much older now.
Part 3 is like the made-for-TV version. There's a lot that does not work. And weirdly enough, she's part of it. But now, again, knowing what we know, I mean, it sucks.
Absolutely.
It sucks. So Carole Anne is drawing a picture of a scary-looking dude that looks a lot like Reverend Kane from part 2. Okay, we'll get there in a second. So she and Grandma have a combo about the gifts they've been blessed with. And this is when we learn that they're both clairvoyant.
Diane and the grandmother.
Just
Carole Anne and the grandmother, yes.
Yeah.
And I don't understand why Carole Anne's paintings are not a bigger deal. I would have been like, what the fuck is going on in her head?
In movies that would come later on in the future, every time a kid drew a picture, everyone lost their fucking mind.
We've watched so many movies and shows where they're like, don't draw that, don't do that. What is wrong with you? Like, your kid's been drawing this in school.
See this?
Yeah, at school and class or like projects. Like,
he's worshiping the devil.
Exactly.
Yeah, but like this girl's literally drawing pictures of a preacher that tried to drag us into a different dimension. Wait. I'm thinking that we're reviewing part 3. This hasn't happened yet.
No.
Oh my god.
That's me. You just busted an Alex. Come back. Step into the light, Carole Anne.
I'm fucking dead. I'm like, why don't they know better? Why haven't they like asked why she's drawing pictures of this preacher?
Yeah, no, but in part 3, yeah.
Yeah.
But right now, she's still doing like these demonic paintings and stuff like that.
They should be questioning her.
They should be questioning her.
Okay, that's what I meant. Due to what happened in the last movie, we know that she just went to a different dimension.
Yeah,
because Mom had to go back and get her.
Oh, it's what she's seen.
Yeah.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, but yeah. So the grandma has no idea what happened though. So go ahead.
I think it's funny too that the Freelings are fighting over what happened to their house. Like,
because the insurance is still charging them for the property, and it's like, well, what do we do? Like, the house is gone.
Where is it?
Like,
it's been house snapped.
Yeah.
What do you want us to say?
That is the funniest moment.
I think that's funny. And also, are we to understand that Steve Freeling is now a vacuum salesman?
Yes, he does door to door.
How the mighty have fallen.
And they have moved from Cueste Verde to Arizona to the mother-in-law's house.
Oh, I thought it was still in California, but
no,
it was just filmed in Arizona.
Yeah, well, they moved to Arizona is where the grandmother lives.
So Grandma actually lives in Arizona in the film? I didn't realize. Okay, cool.
That's why it's so easy for the Taylor to get to them.
Is Cueste Verde in California?
Yes.
Okay.
It's supposed to be set in California.
Okay. Interesting.
Very.
Okay. So we go to an outdoor mall, and this is just Mom and the kids. Robbie is begging for a TV, even though we, again, have all that past trauma with televisions.
And this is where we get the part 1 effect of when the kids fall asleep in the parents' bed during the first movie. the TV changes from that, the
Star Spangled Banner.
The Star Spangled Banner, and then it goes to black and white static. And that's when we learned that the ghosts are communicating to Carole Anne from that staticky shit. Well, they try to like do the same thing to us because they kind of like go to that mall sequence. They start with the TV like that and doing that the music, and then Robbie's staring straight into the TV, but it kind of pans out and it starts to play a baseball game instead.
Yeah.
So we're like, oh, okay, you tricked us. We
Just
thought it was
kidding.
happening all over again.
Yeah, and everything is fine until it's not, because all of a sudden we are introduced to a very, very scary Reverend Kane, played by an actor named Julian Beck. And fun fact about Julian Beck, he was married to the actress who plays Grandma or Grandmama in the Addams Family movie from 1991. I thought that was an interesting little fact. This guy is horrifying.
Yeah.
Horrifying. I think that he is comparable to a certain degree to Zelda from Pet Sematary. Going back to Pet Sematary.
It used to freak me the fuck out. Like, I couldn't sleep as a kid. We would just like constantly just joke around this man, like, coming and getting us at night, and we would sing the song to each other, like our siblings. We would just, like, before we go to bed, we'd just be singing that God is in his temple song, and it would just freak us the fuck out. It's the scariest, like, probably character I've ever seen without makeup.
Yeah, I don't even think he needed makeup because going back to the cursed stuff about this film or these
Poltergeist.
films. Yeah, he was very ill while filming this film and died shortly after. And I think that they had mentioned that they made a death mask of his face.
What they call it.
For the actor in part 3 to wear. Yeah. To kind of emulate his character,
which looked nothing like him at all.
To carry the curse stuff on. I don't think we should keep talking about this curse.
No, and it's not that he passed away after the movie. He was already sick during the filming as well, so he had stomach cancer. And this is exactly why they loved casting him, because the effect that the medicine was giving him was giving him this appearance anyways, and it was perfect. They said he had a really good time playing this part, and it was probably, he went out with a bang.
He looks the part.
But you're right, the whole Zelda thing, this is enough to photographically instill itself in the back of your head and stay there forever.
Yeah, it's every time this guy's on screen, it's very chilling. He's very tall, he's gaunt, he has very like hollow eyes.
He's a skeleton. He's a walking
got his
fucking skeleton.
Scary fucking voice.
Yeah,
he's totally after Carole Anne. We get a lot of him through this movie, so buckle the fuck up. So yeah, he is following Carole Anne, and she is lost in this mall. Diane and Robbie. And he's on her tail, and he's like walking through people, and he's like this supernatural entity, and it's really chilling.
Yeah.
And he eventually catches up to her and offers to sing to her and hold her hands until Diane finds her.
Yeah.
Oh,
the graphics here remind me of Ghost when he's like walking through people. And also the music during this scene is what I'm talking about. You can feel in your stomach. You can feel the moment that Carole Anne's going through. And probably the best fucking performance of Carole Anne's like entire Poltergeist life. Is when she's looking at the Reverend, and the look that she has in her face, like she has so many questions, but she can't fucking like say not one word, and she's like so afraid of like him grabbing her hands. She's selling it so fucking good. This is like, I'm in love with this part.
Yeah, I think the interactions that she has with that character are probably some of the best in this whole entire series.
It's the way she looks at him. She doesn't look at the camera. She doesn't blink. She's just staring straight at him. What the fuck am I just staring at right now? Yeah,
it's funny because there are times where she's like an obnoxious little kid actor, depending on who she's around, but then she is working with this guy, and it's a completely different kind of chemistry.
And she's like, "Mommy, I don't feel so good," and it's like, "Oh, she says it's so good."
Yeah. I completely agree with you. Later on, Mom and Grandma have a heart-to-heart in the kitchen, and we get another flashback of Carole Anne being summoned into the television from the first film. Oh, well, actually, I guess that's the first flashback. And I usually don't like it when movies do this, but it's fine here. And I think that Jo Beth Williams is really good.
It's a lot of family trauma.
Yeah.
So the visions are kind of good because they still haven't got over it.
Carole Anne wakes up in the night to kiss a sleeping grandma. And then she answers her toy telephone because it's ringing. Apparently, it's Grandma, but we don't hear her. And she's telling her to be good and that she loves her.
It's such a lovely moment.
It is really cute. And the music's really endearing, too. And then the next morning, Grandma's dead.
Let's see what happened there, like, already, because the family removing all of the TV sets from the house, these evil entities have no other way to communicate with Carole Anne. So they're using the phone now as a conduit.
They have to find something.
To the TV. Like, there is no more staticky TVs.
Now, do you think that was actually grandma calling her on the phone at that moment to tell her to be
because
good?
the grandmother did have that power.
Yeah,
to do
I
as
think
well
so
as like
too.
we saw it at the end of the movie.
Yeah,
how much power she has.
Yeah.
Did I just ruin it?
No.
I'm just kidding. She's a magnificent force.
So a little bit later, we have a super dark cloud hovering over Grandma's house, Grandma Jess's house, as Diane is dragged into the garden by a slew of the undead. Much like the swimming pool scene from the original movie, I imagine.
Yeah.
Only this is a nightmare, and I don't care how much that this made me jump. It's a fucking cheap scare, but I think that the zombies look really good.
I feel like the cinematography during this scene was a little silly. Like, it was honestly a useless scene. And
very useless.
Very useless scene. And I just feel like it was kind of hurried up. Like, hey, Diane, we have 5 minutes. Why don't we film you, coming out of the French doors into the garden area, and we'll do the rest.
Right. And they have other footage that they took out of this movie, but they have this scene.
Yeah.
So it's like you have other scenes that you could have given us with Tangina and Diane. You have other scenes that you could have giving us exposition or flashbacks with the preacher and his
well, there
followers.
was just no point because they're not after Diane, but
aren't they after Diane too?
No,
kind of. They really just want Carole Anne.
Yeah, they were after Diane, but when she brought Carole Anne into like the world, like it just made it a brighter light. And then when she went into that other dimension, now they're like, "Fuck, we can't let go of her."
What did you think about when they're panning over? When the camera's panning over Carole Anne in Robbie's room and it shows every single toy in their room. And it's like, which one is the most dangerous? Which one is going to turn on and which one is going to turn on them?
Well, because they did it in part 1 and then now it's like one of those hocus pocus things where they're selling the comfort now. We get it. Like part 1 gave us the clown and it was super scary, but now it's like you want to do it again, which the little jump scare with when the phone rings and she's talking on the phone again. There's the robot that comes on.
Yeah, this is where it happens.
And then he's like, "We want the angel," to the little girl. It's pretty loud, so it's the only jump scare I think that it made me like kind of jump.
It probably the only
Just
one that made you jump. There was a few things that actually made me jump, but then I laughed at myself afterward because I was like, that was silly. It shouldn't have made me jump. Yeah, but I do like that the house does go berserk.
Yeah,
the house like goes completely nuts, and instead of saying "they're here" like she does in the first one, what does she say?
They're back.
And
they're back.
Yeah. And what I like about this one is that they don't have time to fuck around. They pick their babies up and they bounce.
Yeah, and I love the way the house sounds here. Like it's just breaking.
Like
somebody's like
shit.
Walking upstairs, but there's nobody there cracking at the same time.
I love haunted house movies.
Yeah.
When they do like the appropriate things that they're supposed to be doing, like when they behave like haunted house movies, I like that.
The idea of something walking through walls and the walls breaking at the same time because these steps are so like they're fucking just heavy.
Yeah.
With whatever energy's on it. That's what's scary.
Before they can leave, Taylor is standing in their doorway. This is the shaman played by Will Sampson, who also died shortly after the production of this movie.
Yeah.
Of stomach cancer, I think.
And this is the guy that would perform the exorcisms at the end of every scene.
Yeah. He says that Tangina sent him. This is when Steve refers to her as the magic munchkin.
Oh my gosh.
And I think that they call her that more than once. There's a few politically incorrect statements made throughout this movie. He tells them they cannot leave and that the haunting will follow them, but they leave anyway and go to a restaurant up the street. And this part had me on the fucking floor with the woman in the curlers sitting at the bar.
Yeah.
And then how she turns around and starts talking to Diane in Jess's voice and her mom's voice. And
Mama?
Yeah. I was literally laughing. This woman is the MVP of the movie.
Yeah, she really is. I mean, I'm not your mother, lady. I ain't your mama, lady. She's great. Where have I seen her, though, before? I feel like I've seen her, like, do some other shit. Suzanne Peretz is her name.
I feel like she walked off the set of the opening of Friday the 13th, Part 3.
Oh, my gosh.
So the Freelings have another encounter with Taylor, who's been waiting for them outside. And he tells them that Tangina has sent him, and he's going to help them. Carole Anne takes a liking to him, and then they go back to Grandma's. And I think that Taylor is probably my favorite character in the movie.
I could have sworn he was the guy that did Pocahontas' dad's voice.
No.
It sounds
He
just
was
like him.
definitely dead. Who did Pocahontas' dad's voice?
I don't know.
Do you know?
I could look him up, but
He just reminds me of a large leprechaun, but instead of shining shoes, he's like saging cars.
Yeah, you're right.
I love the relationship he has with the car.
Russell Means was Powhatan.
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 Oh God, I used to love the soundtrack to that film when I was a kid.
It's such a good movie.
I still love one song.
Come on. Okay, let's go.
Okay. Oh, what if this guy is an escapee from the tribal asylum?
Girl,
Like they have like an entire asylum dedicated to tribal members.
because he is pretty scary.
I think he's so great. This movie has some funny dialogue, and I don't think that it was trying to have funny dialogue, but I was laughing. So Taylor is doing some magic stuff outside and calls some butterflies, like he's Nancy from The Craft.
Yeah.
And then Diane decides to bring him some sandwiches later, but finds him painting Robbie's face and then takes the sandwich away.
She's so mean.
It's your favorite part of the movie.
She's like, why is she not giving him the sandwiches just because Robbie decided to go face paint?
well, kids need to be treated equal, he thinks, like
Yeah.
warriors. And she says,
He
no.
wants to be a man.
Yeah, and he's ready to be a big
Yeah.
guy.
And she's like, no, he's not. She's like, are you a man?
Yeah.
I'm his mother.
They get into such a weird conversation about like the
Yeah.
differences between like mothering, the differences between being a man and a woman, and
The 80s were just a different thing. Back
It's-
then. We were just so easy life.
it's so interesting.
Or
like,
was it?
bitch, your house is haunted. Like you have bigger fish to fry. Like
Yeah.
this is not the time for this conversation.
Give him the damn sandwich, Diane.
Let the man eat.
Yeah. Get your face painted.
Get your face painted. And just when you think that we're gonna get like more comedy about the car, because this is the part where Steve comes in.
Yeah.
It-
Taylor!
yeah, you
Taylor!
fucked it up. The saging that you did.
Your
really-
car is angry.
Yeah, it's
He's doing the
hilarious.
voice.
It's
Sorry.
so funny. No, you do it good. But just when we think it's about to get funny, Reverend Kane is back, baby. And this is the music getting so spooky.
Mhm.
Excuse me, getting so spooky. And this is when we get the first God is in his holy temple.
Yeah, and this is like what made like afternoon rainstorm scary.
Okay.
Like as a youngin,
Okay.
this really like it was super scary to like see the rain in the afternoon now.
I can't relate because
Thanks a lot, Reverend Kane.
I didn't see it until more
You
recently. I'm the
should've.
worst.
Yeah,
Oh,
so he
gosh.
does arrive. Carole Anne sitting outside in the lawn. Front
Yeah,
lawn,
she's in the yard and he just like walks up the driveway and
Yeah.
starts to accost the family.
which back in the days, playing out in your front yard with a fenceless house, you know, that was a cool security thing to do. And
They have a
nowadays,
fence.
No,
Didn't
they
they
don't.
have a fence?
No,
Oh.
they have like rose bushes.
Oh, okay. I don't like it when he pets the dog and the dog doesn't like
that's
him.
the best part.
And then he's like, the dog is shedding.
that's the best part.
Fuck you, Reverend
Like
Kane.
he's just making up an excuse because that dog knows that you're the fucking beast.
Fuck off, bitch.
Hello, bitch.
And then suddenly we're in a To Catch a Predator episode with a racist pedophile because he's ranting and raving about, you have Indians inside this house. Get them out of here.
Yeah, really. You have a problem.
It's fucked up. But
Now
yo,
let me in.
oh, you are so scary.
Stop.
You are. You do it so good.
Ah,
So
yes.
the Reverend has the scariest smile. He has the scariest voice.
Mm-hmm.
He claims he's from an organization that is against false magic, and he wants to help Steve and Diane against the Indian in the house. His word, not mine. And he's trying to persuade Steve to let him in.
Yeah, Steve's in a trend.
Yeah, he's like hypnotizing him. And then Diane starts having visions of the Reverend in another time with people at his feet as he cries and smiles. And did I point this out to you? Was it just me, or every time that it cut back to the Reverend, his face seemed like more thin? and
Yeah,
more
like they
thin?
would like seem more skeletal.
Was that the actor or was it makeup, do you think?
I think it was probably makeup.
It
the
was,
more that we
right?
stared at him, it was just like the more dead
Was this
he
guy just
became.
dying on camera?
Like the more dead he just became. Like who knows how many takes it actually took, because how much
Fuck.
energy did he actually bring to set?
It's crazy. So, like we said, he's hypnotized, and it's kind of compelling. This whole scene is really, really fucking scary.
Mhm.
Like, this is probably one of the scariest scenes in the movie, if this movie is scary.
And the
this
fact that
is
Steven's
why.
about to open the door
Yeah.
is like the most. You cannot let that shit into your home. Do not invite it. Do not invite it.
And the way that the Reverend goes from, let me in, to
Yeah.
just back to normal so quickly. And he's like, okay, have it your way.
You're gonna die in there. You're all gonna die.
Yeah. Taylor reveals to Steve that the Reverend is basically a beast.
Well, did you also during the scene that this is taking part, Diane's in the kitchen drying herself off with a kitchen cloth, and she's having visions of what happened with the Reverend and the people.
I already said that.
You did?
Yeah.
Sorry.
After that, Taylor and Steve basically get into a conversation about how they have to prepare for an upcoming battle. And this scares Steve into getting drunk.
Yeah.
But Taylor doesn't drink, though. He had to give it up because he was having bad dreams. So every time Steve offers him some booze, Taylor declines. I love Taylor.
Yeah. No, really.
I love
Taylor's
him.
like the hero in Train to Busan.
Sure. Oh, you know what? Yes. I love that guy.
Yeah,
that
he's
guy
the
is the fucking shit. So Taylor goes on to read Steve for everything he's worth, calling him a helpless leaf in the wind. But Steve doesn't get anything.
And he only speaks in bumper sticker.
He really does.
Yeah.
Oh, God, I have a quote written down. A warrior would rather be defeated and die than act against his nature.
See, it's a bumper sticker.
I love it. Oh, the zombie in the mirror moment with Robbie scared the shit out of me. But the whole braces moment, I think, is probably one of the fucking dumbest things I've ever seen in my life.
It would totally happen.
Did you think that it was scary?
Because I've already seen Nightmare on Elm Street movies.
It was Diet Nightmare on Elm Street for preteens.
So, yeah, it was kind of like a stole role from Nightmare on Elm Street.
Well, explain what happens.
So he's left alone in the restroom where he's like picking at his
because he went from 6 to 15 overnight.
Yeah, he went from 6 to 15, so he has braces. He's picking at his braces, and before you know it, these braces start fucking growing tentacles, and they start wrapping themselves around Robbie's face, around his body. They fucking have him Spider-Man position up on the ceiling.
Fucking stupid.
Yeah, he's yelling for mom and dad, and they come in, bust the door open, and there he is, your boy, right behind his braces.
It's fucking dumb. It's dumb. Like, they could have done anything else in the world.
It's the way the parents are reacting, so then this tentacle starts reaching for the outlet.
Oh, that's right. The brace tentacle.
Yeah, it starts reaching for the electrical outlet, and Diane's like, no, no, no. And she's like grabbing the tentacle, and it's like, there's already electricity passing through, from the outlet into this fucking like tentacle. And Diane's grabbing the tentacle, and she's like shouting, no, no. And like you see the dad in the background, and Robbie's just like yelling for his parents. So she unplugs it. And to me, it's like one thing when it really happens. And then when it's done happening, everything just clears like nothing ever existed. And it's like, well, where did all those tentacles go? Where did everything go? And why was Robbie up there? And did we all just see this
like
vision?
How quick these hauntings are, because like that goes back to the first one when the guy's like peeling his face off, and then snap of a finger, it's gone.
Wait, I'm such an idiot.
No, you're not.
Yeah,
it's
because once they go down, because they're yelling for Taylor at the same time, Taylor's downstairs grabbing onto Carole Anne because he's protecting her. So when he comes out, he's like, yeah, he says to them, it's not Robbie that they're after, it's Carole Anne that they want. So that was just a distraction. And the word distraction, like, literally just lets you know these things are made up in your own head just to.
And that's why he was protecting Carole Anne.
Yeah. So they're all distractions. That's why they don't exist after they pass.
How would you feel if you were Robbie? Like, even these ghosts don't want me. They want my sister.
Well,
like,
he's still a middle child. You have to consider that. So he already has those fucked up feelings.
Middle child syndrome.
Yeah, so can you just imagine what he feels like? Like, he's probably like, like he probably traps himself in these old tentacles, making up his own horror story just so he gets attention.
And mom's like, is your name Carole Anne?
Yeah, the tree never swallowed him. The braces never attacked
sucked
him.
into the television, honey? No.
Are they yelling for you, Carole Anne?
I didn't see the tree swallow you, honey.
No, it's not you they're after.
I didn't see the clown attack you,
You're
honey.
just not it.
That clown never choked you, honey.
Oh, in real life, supposedly it did choke him. The mechanism went out and it choked Robbie.
That's what he said. There are some good throwback images to the first one. Like when the ghostly apparition comes out of the chair and Carole Anne is in Taylor's arms. Like, I love that shot. That's more of like the blue imagery.
In the living room?
Yeah.
When he's like, I'm not dead or I'm not gone.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
scary.
The fucking scariest scene ever. Because the fact that he's been sitting there the entire time just watching this family fucking spaz out.
Yeah.
Is like, you were just 2 feet away from it. Yeah, that's
you were just
scary.
in that chair.
Yeah.
Like,
well, that's why he flies off. Steven flies off the chair because he pushes him off the chair.
Horrifying.
Yeah.
I love that Taylor's up all night just saging and like fucking, not saging, but like shaking his medicine bag.
It's the scariest thing because he's like, he's still here.
And his charms.
He's telling him that Reverend Kane is still in the house.
I was a medicine man in my last life.
You still are.
So are you.
Yeah.
We get some exposition on the Reverend, who is a transformative evil being who hates how much the Freelings love each other and is trying to tear them apart based on their love for one another. He wants Carole Anne and wants to destroy their spirit.
Fuck off, bitch. Think about the girls. Do it for the girls.
Oh, I love it. Taylor takes Steve to the desert from the opening of the movie, and Diane is finally visited by our magical munchkin.
Oh my gosh.
Steve's words, not mine. Tangina. I wish there was more of her in this movie, but I guess, like I said earlier, her scenes were chopped. Something she wasn't very happy with.
She's so cool.
And the way they treat her is fucking hilarious. Like, they, like, bend down to her level, like, to hug her, and they, like, squeeze her fucking cheeks, and they treat her like a little kid. But she is here to give us more Reverend Kane backstory and how he led his followers to Cueste Verde. They were massacred by Indians, all this stuff. And then we go back and forth between this and then the desert, where Taylor performs a ritual for Steve to give him mental and emotional power, I guess. I don't know. There's cool visuals. I just have no fucking idea what's going on. Tangina gives Diane a photo of the Reverend and then tells Diane that she is psychic like her mother and like Carole Anne. And we get a flashback of Kane and his followers sealing themselves underground because he had predicted the end of time. But that day comes and goes and he won't allow his followers to leave.
Oh, I forgot to mention that when Robbie was in the tentacle stuff, the reason why it stopped is because Steven did his smoke spirit. Remember the thing the thing that got instilled in him when he went to the desert with Taylor was a smoke spirit, so he used it during the time that Robbie was being attacked.
Oh,
and that's how it stopped.
That's so funny. I completely forgot about that.
Yeah, me too. I was like, wait, how
completely forgot. Yeah, because I thought that was in my notes, but apparently it's not.
But that's where that came into play, that smoke spirit.
Yeah, he literally blows the smoke into...
Yeah.
Oh, wait. That happens later, too, I think.
Yeah, it happens later. So it's just in him now.
Okay, yeah. So
use the smoke spirit.
Okay. I don't even know where to go from here. There's a book I read by Blake Crouch, who is one of Monica and I's favorite authors. And it's called Abandon, I think. And this has like a similar backstory where...
you have that book.
I do. Yeah. Where this guy, I think he's even a priest.
Oh, really?
I think he seals himself into a tomb of sorts with a bunch of other people who have followed him in there with a bunch of money.
Well, I remember this stuff was real.
This is based off of Jonestown.
This was real, right?
I think this is like inspired by the Jonestown stuff.
Mm-hmm.
The Jim Jones.
Yeah.
Drinking the Kool-Aid.
Yeah, I remember that. Like,
fucking
I feel like this
scary
is real.
shit. Okay. So... when Diane had gone to the other dimension to save Carole Anne last year, or 3 years ago, or whatever, his followers had gotten a taste of Carole Anne's life force, and that's what they're after now, which is why the Reverend and all these bitches want her and her young soul. It's hocus pocus shit. So later, Steve decides to drink more, and at the bottom of his tequila bottle is a mezcal worm that has eyes and blinks. This part's actually really fucked up.
Yeah, it is.
And actually, I think that this might be the scariest part of the movie for me. And it's because of what happens with Steve. And it's not even the fact that he like swallows the mezcal worm and he pukes it back up. Like that part's fine. Like the special effects are okay. Mm-hmm. But it's what happens with him and Diane. Like the conversation that he gets possessed by the Reverend.
He starts singing the song.
He starts singing that song.
God is in
it's so scary. Like his emulation of the preacher is pretty fucking. It's haunting. And I think that it like when his eyes get all like he's all pale.
The makeup here is fucking amazing. Yeah, so good.
And when he's telling Diane like you never wanted Carole Anne, like she's the reason all this is happening. You want to get rid of her, and he like looks back at Carole Anne and smiles because he knows that Carole Anne can hear him.
He grins at her like knowing like he's just fucking her up.
Fucking gross.
And he's telling Diane to like, remember when you were a child just planting roses with your mother? And Diane's like, how did you know that? Like, how did you know that? I've never told you that. So obviously Diane knows that it's somebody else controlling Steven.
Like, so, like, the super rapey stuff aside that happens
That's
during this
gross.
part, and the bathtub part's actually kind of uncomfortable with Diane and Carole Anne in the bathtub, and it kind of gives you, like, side profiles, and that's a little inappropriate.
Yeah. He's like, I just want the angel.
Yeah, but they do... go ahead.
The way he bites her kind of like cleans it up a bit, knowing that it's not kind of a perverse scene. It's more of a demonic possession, and it's just gross. The way he's like biting at her, like taking these nips off of her. Like it's just, it's eerie.
Yeah, I mean, the 80s were just a different time. I don't know how many times I've said that or how many times you've said that, but we just went in different directions. Yeah. Like now we're just like very gory and over the top. Like back then we kind of just went in some pretty... interesting routes, I suppose.
Back then was permissible.
Yeah, we got away with a lot. I did want to mention the conversation that Diane and Carole Anne are having about Alice in Wonderland and the comparisons that they're having.
Yeah.
And Carole Anne tells Mom that she knows why the other beings are there, and it's because they have nowhere else to go.
And she's crying.
Oh, that's probably her best acting in the movie. The whole puking moment. This is the part where he pukes up the worm. It's like a full-grown, legless man in a suit.
It's fucking great.
It's pretty fucking epic.
Honestly, this scene doesn't belong in this movie.
No. That's the only complaint I have about it.
It was such a good fucking scene. It belongs like in such a better movie.
Like Aliens.
Yeah.
It could have been in any other...
Even now, like in a newer movie, like that shit was just so good.
Yeah, I feel like it like belongs in like a VHS film, like one of those anthology movies.
It was just so scary, like really well done and scary. Too scary for this movie. Like it wasn't a hue of blue ghost. This was like real shit happening.
And then what kind of follows next doesn't really fit in either, because we get this weird fire breathing monster thing that drops from the attic, and this is where Steve blows his special medicine man smoke at him again. And I wrote, he gained it from his bathhouse session.
Oh, shit. With Taylor? Because you do hear Taylor's voice, right? Use the smoke spirit.
Yeah, they're so gay for each other in their spa moment. So this is where the house, like, turns on them. And we get Diane opening closet doors and zombies pouring out, but really it's just vacuums and boxing gloves.
And brooms and mops.
It's so dumb. And really, the next few minutes are just like recycled pieces from the first, I feel. A lot of it just felt very much like we've done this before. Yeah. So we're looking for Carole Anne. We're saying Carole Anne's name 600 times. And we end up finding her in the garage in the car. And this is where the family is chased by a haunted chainsaw and ghostly wires.
Yeah.
And I want to know how Tobe Hooper felt about this, because Tobe Hooper, who had directed the first Poltergeist, also released the Texas Chainsaw Massacre Part 2 the same year. So there was a lot of chainsaw action happening in other parts.
They're like, we've done the floating chainsaw once, never going to do it again.
Yeah. I didn't think it was that effective. No, I did have a little bit of fear that the dog was going to get it.
Yeah.
Happy to report that he does not.
He grabs the electrical cord, right?
Yeah, but then he gets in the car and he's okay. And and the whole time, this God is in his holy temple song is just fucking raging in our ears.
It's fucking Children of the Corning.
Oh, I felt that a lot.
Like it's like Children of the Corning out over there. I'm like, what the fuck am I watching?
Another good sequel, Children of the Corn 2.
You're right. Okay, I'll pick one.
Okay. The Freeling's car looks like mine, by the way.
I know. It looks like a fucking furniture store.
All beat up. Okay, so finally, now that we have 5 minutes left of the movie, we're going back to Cueste Verde.
I love it. Cueste Verde. All day long.
Just to put our kids back into the mouth of danger. These are the worst parents of the year.
Why? They're all together like a family.
Okay, but we're going to take our children into an underground tunnel of doom.
Yeah. And I think this neighborhood would be actively nervous now. So if you hear that car strolling up at fucking 3 a.m., you're surely going to look out a fucking window. Like,
that shit would be blocked the fuck off.
I would be like, what is going on out there again? What is all this noise?
And that Tangina woman would not be allowed on the property. They'd be like, hey, that short bitch, keep her away.
This is the HOA, and we are stopping you at the gate, girl.
Oh my God. And she'd be like, Skittles. And they'd be like, no, get her out of here. And speaking of her, she's there waiting for them, preparing for her role as Madame Serena for the forthcoming Teen Witch film that would be released a year later.
Sloppy performance.
Not from Teen Witch. That's her best performance.
Like Tangina during this scene was just so like, why is she even here?
She didn't need to be.
Why is she even here?
She didn't need to be.
No.
I'm just going to flat out say that her performance in part 1 is the best. And then part 3 is her second best.
Like, we could have just used her voice kind of guiding the family. It would have been so much more effective, I think, for me, than to actually see the
Take
scene.
a left, Carole Anne.
Something, like, use your love, like, something, like, it just, like, why is she approaches the scene so slow. She's late.
She was just hiding out.
It's like if they kept calling her onto set. Like, that's what it felt like. Like, they kept having to call her onto set.
That's
and I love her.
how
she's
she
great.
felt, too.
But
That's
this
probably
part of the
exactly
movie
how
was
she
just...
felt. She was in a weird, I guess like mid to late 90s, kind of rip-off of The Craft called Little Witches.
Oh, gosh.
And she played like a nun.
Uh-huh.
Like with a burned face or something.
Yeah. Well, I became a fan of hers after the Poltergeist movies. I would actually actively watch things that she would be in just because I liked her as Tangina, but she would just never deliver Tangina no more.
She's in one of my favorite episodes of Tales from the Crypt.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think I showed it to you.
Yeah.
Where she plays Felicity's mother.
Yes, it is.
Oh my God. But I have to tell you this story once. I was with Ryan Coe at my grandmother's years and years ago. We were probably 9 years old and we were in a tent in her front yard. She had this big like acre of lawn. And so we were just like camping. I woke up in the middle of the night because I could just hear a clicking of a flashlight. And again, I had never seen Poltergeist. I had only seen Poltergeist 3. But I woke up and like I turn over to my left and I see Ryan Coe with a flashlight being like turned off and on against his own face, and he's saying, "Carole Anne, stay away from the light.
No way.
Carole Anne, stay away from the light."
And you haven't seen the movie.
And I had no idea what he was talking about, and I just rolled over and went back to bed because I was like, "What the fuck?"
Let him Ryan out.
It was Ryan being Ryan. Anyway, that was my first introduction to Tangina.
You had no idea. That's fucking
No
hilarious.
clue. Okay, so all of them descend the ladder and go underground, and this is where we get the worst line delivery of the entire movie, and that would be Carole Anne saying, "I do want to go on, Mom."
Really?
Ugh.
I thought it was Diane's grabbing the floors. They're all in here. They're all sad.
All because of him.
All because of him.
Okay, so maybe the next 7 minutes are just awfully written.
Between Diane and Carole Anne, it was just too much.
No, it's bad. Like, I think that they just really wanted to get this movie over with at this point.
And this is where my special graphics fall into place, and we see Diane and Carole Anne just float away into public television.
They're videodroming. They're videodroming,
They're
baby.
totally videodroming.
Yeah, and finally, because like this is like what we've been waiting for, I guess. It's and everything that happens from this point forward. Again, it's not my favorite, but I love the set piece for what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Like Taylor is performing an exorcism of sorts, I suppose, like on the other side, trying to like make sure everyone stays connected. And after Carole Anne and Diane drift off into the otherworldly dimension, he has to send Robbie and Steve over into the other dimension, well, through his fire pit or whatever.
The doorway is the fire.
Yeah, it's very Amityville, to catch the other two. And that's the only way that the Reverend is not going to get them, I guess. Does that make any fucking sense?
They have to reach them before they reach the gates of passing through.
That's what's up.
The other side.
Or they will all slip into eternity.
Yes.
That's it. And all the while, there's this giant snake thingy that has Carole Anne's face and a whole bunch of other weird faces. It's a pretty
That's kind of cool
effect, yeah. But it grabs Carole Anne and it starts sucking the life force out of her, and she becomes like super like.
See, there's some effects that just don't belong with the rest of this movie.
But like that was a good effect.
It's a great effect, but that belongs in a whole different movie.
She just reminded me of like a child that had been like found in the woods or something.
No,
like,
definitely.
Oh,
I'm like plucking away all the really good parts out of the movie. They're so good for this movie too, but it's just like they were just so fucking good the way they were done. Like for this moment in time, even for this movie, it's like these specific parts were so good.
Oh God. Yeah, I'll agree. I think that the special effects are probably one of the biggest bonuses of a movie that really only got made because the first one made a lot of money. And that's that's why sequels are made. You know what I mean? They have to go in and try to get these two out. Steve tries to save Carole Anne with a magic spear that that Taylor shoots into the other dimension. And Carole Anne is sucked into oblivion.
It's a charmed native spear.
Oh, is it?
Meant to protect?
No. Here, take my spear.
Take my spear.
Yeah, so, that's the end of it. She's killed.
Yeah.
But then she's given back because they cry and they love her so much.
Carole Anne?
No, the family. That's why she's spit back out. That's why Grandma Jess gives us Carole Anne back. It's because the Freelings are like, we miss you.
But this is Diane's best performance when she's silently, quietly crying.
Her best performance is when she's naked in Kramer versus Kramer.
Stop it. This is
saying.
like her best performance. And Diana's a mom.
She's also good in The Big
movie.
Chill. Just saying.
The way she's like looking and then she looks at Steve and she just cries to his chest is like the best fucking scene ever.
Oh, give me a break.
We see in a distance that Carole Anne just floats away into eternity.
It doesn't even look like Carole Anne.
No.
It looks like
Lady Gaga flying off the stadium for football.
Literally screaming, hello, baby, you cold.
So then
it reminds me of Xanadu.
Grandma Jess brings her back from the light and delivers back Carole Anne to her family.
Oh, it wasn't Olivia Newton-John?
It was not Olivia Newton-John. It was just the grandmother. Doing spirit fingers and all.
Yeah.
And Carole Anne's she's coming back with her Disneyland balloon and her popcorn and her Mickey ears.
And Grandma Jess looks like a Christmas topper.
She just looks like a Christmas topper. Yeah, you're right. She really does. But that's the same image angel that comes down in part 1 from the stairway that I'm telling you about.
Maybe they were telling the future.
I don't know.
No, we're done. Okay. We're stopping.
Stop it. But if Carrie always knew that she had superpowers.
No. We're done. Okay. Where were we? Oh,
yeah.
The Freelings are sent back to the fire pit for Tangina to shower them with her Skittles voice. Steve gives Taylor their car because it's angry and they don't want it anymore.
No.
And then they realize that they've been abandoned and need a ride.
Yeah,
Taylor
leaves with Tangina. Him and Tangina are going to go to the bar. And here comes the family yelling, Taylor!
I was kind of thinking what it would be like if they got together.
Probably really fun.
They'd probably have a really good time.
They probably just talk shit about the work that they've done and how they fool people into believing that they're possessed.
That's the sequel we needed.
Launder money.
They would totally be laundering money. But that's the sequel we needed was
Tangina and
Taylor's story. Maybe we can get a prequel.
How y'all know each other?
It's kind of like The Conjuring with Ed and Lorraine.
Yeah, this is exactly what it is.
Yeah.
Or the other world of not Conjuring, but
Poltergeist.
No, what's her name?
I don't fucking know.
Yeah, there's not The Conjuring, but with that one woman, short-haired, blonde.
Patricia Arquette.
No. Oh my gosh.
What? Drew Barrymore.
No, what are the other, like, they're not Conjuring movies, but fuck.
They're ghost movies?
They're still like family movies like that. Like,
Cheaper by the dozen.
No. Oh my gosh. Okay, I can't think about it. Forget it.
No, I'm invested.
Yeah, me too. But I'm going to take so long just trying to like guess that woman's name.
Kristen Bell.
No.
I'm trying to be helpful here.
Yeah, she's a paranormal researcher like that too, or she does like paranormal shit too. She goes to the family's homes and she also like, you know, like does all this cleansing shit. Oh my gosh, I can't think of these fucking movies and I watch them all the time.
All right.
It's not The Conjuring, but it's not The Conjuring.
Well, guys, that's Poltergeist 2. When you figure out what that is, let me know, because now I feel like I should know what that is too. And I don't know.
Me too.
Alex, what did you think about the Poltergeist 2? Poltergeist 2, The Other Side.
This movie was made for me. Specifically for me, yeah. No, this movie will always, like I say, be one of my favorable, heartwarming type movies. This movie is not even a horror movie to me. Honestly, this is what I would show my family.
I feel like you
my kids
wanted to show your family Single White Female, which is not a family film.
Yeah,
or right. You watched it with your family.
I think she was in Insidious, is what I'm talking about.
Oh, are you thinking of Lynn Shay?
That's her.
I'm thinking of like a young...
Yeah.
Like...
Lynn Shay is the one, right?
Yeah, those are the Insidious films.
She has
Insidious 2?
That's a good movie. But she has that universe, right? In Insidious, she is that person.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Very similar tones, by the way. Poltergeist and Insidious. I think that those...
the same. Then with the Warrens, like...
Good double feature. Triple feature. The Conjuring, Poltergeist. It's like you start light. Poltergeist, and then you go to Insidious, and then you go to The Conjuring.
Yep.
I think that's a good way
That's the grandfather of Haunted House is Poltergeist.
I raise you The Changeling.
No, it's
You've
a little more modern.
Never seen it.
It's a little more modern, though.
The Changeling? The Changeling came out 2 years before?
Oh, did it?
You're thinking of an Angelina Jolie movie that has nothing. I knew it. I could just see it the way that your fucking
Oh my gosh,
brain
dude.
was
All right,
rolling.
I'm done.
You guys, that was Poltergeist 2. Alex loved it.
Yes.
I'm fine with it.
How are you?
I mean, I don't know. I'm not the right audience for this because I still prefer part 3.
Oh my goodness.
After all is said and done, even with all of the terrible things that went on, I still think that part 3 is just, and maybe that's nostalgia talking.
You have to watch part 1.
Well, we're going to get there in 2 weeks. Yeah, I think that this is, I recommend people watch this though. It's fun. It's got some concepts. I don't think they follow through with everything completely, but the performances are good. I think the family dynamic is still there. I think that that's what glues the film together is the performances between the parents, more specifically.
Yes.
I think the kids don't really have much to do with anything. Taylor, Will Sampson, also gives a really good performance for what he has to work with. And I think that the movie belongs to Elsbeth. No, I'm just kidding. I think Reverend Kane. I think the guy.
Absolutely.
I think Julian Beck owns this film. I think that the little time that he's given on screen is pretty fucking good. And I wish that we had more of him in this film.
It's probably my favorite movie because of, or like at least in the Poltergeist universe, is like because of Kane's performance. Like the way that he just does it all is literally basically his movie. He does it so good.
I can understand why this movie
What is the music and him
would
alone
scare people as opposed to the other two. But again, the third one, I think the way that the third one uses the mirrors and the ice and the cold,
They used what they had, you know, the little bit of what they had recycled from other movies to produce part 3, and it was fucking genius what they came up with. I think, even though the director said that he wasn't happy with how the movie ended.
Yeah, I think that's more personal with
specifically
grief and stuff.
family grieving type shit. But I mean, the film with what they had to work with, they fucking produced something really good.
Yeah,
I think it's a good part 3.
Yeah, but that was Poltergeist 2, guys. So next week, we are coming back with another sequel to what a lot of people consider a beloved horror film. We are going to be talking about Hello, Mary Lou, Prom Night 2.
It's time to unseal ourselves from this cave and come back to reality and go to prom.
Yeah, we're going to prom, baby. I don't think we've gone to prom yet.
No.
We could have gone to prom with Carrie, but instead we went to just some after football house party, which was just as fun. But I think that this is going to be a prom to remember because I think that this has one of the coolest finales.
It's prom season.
Yeah, dude. There's a lot of cool prom movies. We'll talk about prom movies next week.
Yeah.
While we're slashing up and bleeding this one out.
We'll start with Never Been Kissed.
Oh, fuck yeah.
I'm kidding.
I was going to say, does that have a prom?
Because that is a very horrible movie. It's horror all day long.
Dude, if you're stoned enough, that's a fucking horror film. I cry every time I watch that movie. There's a few
right now.
instances in that movie where I fucking just sob. I've been dying to watch
the egg scene.
I don't want to talk about it.
What?
I don't want to talk about it.
What's wrong?
I don't want to talk about it. I want to watch Drop Dead Gorgeous.
Let's go to the beach.
Yeah, we gotta go.
Let's close this chapter up.
Time to hit the pavement, guys. We love you all. Stay gory. Stay gay. Alex, any other words?
Nope. Just keep listening. We love you.
Thanks for listening. You already know how to reach us. Okay, bye.
Water your plants. Bye.
Walk your dogs.
Walk your dogs.
Oh, my twin. Love you.
I love you.